And I forgot, as I always do, that you got to take this down. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome, guys, to Zach Milne Talks Live. It is June. We're doing another month of collaborations, and I'm bringing in some new people this time around for our collab month. And starting with our beloved channel member, and usually I'll do an intro video shouting out super chatters. The guy who super chatted last week happens to be here as well, and it's the Ace Avenue. What's going on, my man?
Appreciate you for having me on, man. Like I said, I love your obviously I'm on the Saturday shows, love the Wednesday shows you do. It's always a good time to come in here and just see where you're at and how you interact with the community. And it's such a great show and I love it.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you being in the chat all the time, and
Oh, no
all the
problem.
support and that you send over is very very appreciated, man. Thank you so much for all of that. And if you guys are wondering, before you guys even say in the comment section, no, he did not buy his way onto the show. He he has become quite a good friend of mine on this space, and so I was like, you know what? I want to talk to him for more than an hour. We're getting him on Zach Mill Talks Live, and we've made it happen. So if you guys are new, if you haven't been to the show before, basically how this show goes is we've got predetermined topics we're going to talk about. We've got Acolyte just premiered its first 2 episodes. Ace and I watched them. We're going to talk about our thoughts. We've got Inside Out 2 getting 100-day theatrical release, which is kind of unheard of nowadays. We've got a new Predator movie that has just cast its lead role, and we have some updates, potential updates. They're rumors, but it looks like Marvel is eyeing Deadpool and Wolverine's director for Avengers 5. But before we get to all those topics, and in between each of those topics, we're going to be taking your live comments and questions. You guys can send in your comments. We'll take them all throughout the show. If you want to, there's definitely no pressure or anything. If you want to send in a super chat, it's always appreciated. It helps the show out greatly. And because a lot of you guys have channels of your own, I want to help you out by helping me out. So for $1.99, you get a community post made with a link to your channel. For $2.99, you get the community post made, as well as the link to your channel in the description of this video below. And for $4.99 or more, you get the community post, the link in the description of this video, as well as next episode's video, and a special video shout out at the top of next episode's show. But as always, guys, super chats are not required to get your comment or question answered. With that, Ace, let's jump into these comments. Let's see what people are saying. We've got some people who were here even before the show started. So Brandon McDaniel says, "Hey Ace, just subbed." That's awesome, Brandon. Thank
Appreciate
you
you.
so much. That's what we love to see. That's what we like. That's what we'd like to hear. And you sent it at 4:30 p.m. So thank you so much for being here early, my friend. We got another one, D Rod, saying, "Hey, what's up? Ace sent me this link. Question: What's going to be the biggest and worst hit this summer?" I mean,
Mm,
the temptation, the easy answer is to say the biggest is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
mm-hmm.
Don't don't discount Despicable Me 4.
You're riding that. You're gonna die on that hill.
Look, Deadpool and Wolverine has a lot of hype to it. Obviously, I'm
Mm-hmm.
super hyped for it. I think a lot of people are hyped for it. The rated R crowd is
Mm-hmm.
hyped for it.
Yeah.
Despicable Me 4, kids, families, teenagers, like the Rise of Gru, the Minions made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
This franchise is a $1 billion franchise almost with every installment. I would not put money against Despicable Me 4. What do you think about that, man? What do you think is the biggest, and what do you think will be the worst hit of the summer?
It's hard to imagine anything getting worse than Madam Web. We forget that that did come out this summer. I mean, well, not this summer, but this year, I should say. This summer, it's really hard to gauge, but I do think I'm gonna give the edge to Deadpool and Wolverine. I think because it's the only real Marvel movie we're getting this year. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I understand what you're saying as far as the rated R might scare the younger viewers away, but maybe parents will be a little bit more lenient and sneak people in and stuff like that. And maybe we'll see what happens. I think both movies definitely have potential to get over $1 billion.
Yeah. I do think that Deadpool and Wolverine will hit $1 billion. I do think that it'll be I'm expecting it to be the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest. But
Oh yeah.
I think if Deadpool makes 1.1, Despicable Me could do that 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We can't discount Inside Out 2 now because of the story we're going to talk about a little bit later, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Nathan's Random Movies. Thank you for being here, Nathan. Thank you, D-Rod and Brandon as well for being here, by the way. And you guys were here at 4:30 as well. Saying, hi, Zach. What did you think of the new trailer for Alien Romulus and Venom 3? All right. Well, I'm gonna be fully honest. I haven't seen the Alien Romulus new trailer
Same.
yet. I meant to, but I never got around to it.
Mm-hmm.
I, however, did watch Venom 3. Did you watch the Venom 3 trailer?
I did. I did a reaction to it and everything. Interesting to say the least.
What are
So
your thoughts on Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage? Have you been a fan of this franchise?
no. No. Since when the first Venom movie came out, and they lost me early on in that movie where I went to go see it and I was with my friend. I was like, I might leave this movie. When he first got introduced to the symbiote and the symbiote was like, I am Venom. I was like, what? Like, I might be out of here. And Let There Be Carnage was definitely something I didn't go to the theater to see. I'm just the Spider-Man adjacent properties that just don't, captivate me like that. We talk about it all the time on your members weekly talk show. I'm just over the Spider-Man adjacent properties.
Mhm.
And the fact that they're saying what they say at the end, they're gonna have an emotional conclusion, something like that.
Oh, yeah, it's like till death do they part, I think is
Yeah.
the tagline.
I hope the emotionalness is us crying tears of joy that it might finally be over. Because like the movie itself, it just doesn't. First of all, Venom doesn't make any sense without Spider-Man, in my opinion. And I get it, they're
Mhm.
using a basically a side Venom story, but they're making it a Venom type origin from the beginning, and it just didn't make sense. Woody Harrelson's great, saying everything that he's doing, and he wasn't my first choice for Carnage. In my opinion, first choice would always be I always mess up his last name, Cameron Monaghan, the guy from that played Joker in Gotham.
Okay.
And also the voice of one of the Star Wars video games. The guy was also in Shameless. They played Ian in Shameless. He was always my first choice for Carnage, in my opinion. But those movies just really didn't captivate me like that, and I'm kind of just glad that hopefully this is over. And it just seems like in that trailer, like they're retconning some of the stuff that I know you saw. You saw the trailer, correct?
I saw the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the guy capturing the symbiote that was left behind and stuff like that. Will it be interesting? Will it be something I watch? We'll see. It looks action packed, and it looked like it was a
Yep.
little bit of creativity at the end with the horse. So we'll see, and hopefully it's the best of the trio.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the trailer. I like you. I'm not a big fan of the Venom movies. I don't really like the first one really at all. I do think Woody Harrelson is the reason why I liked Carnage more. He kind of saved the movie for me. I don't really get the performance of Tom Hardy as Eddie. It just never really has clicked with me. I do think some of the bromance stuff is fun, but it's never been enough to really like suck me into these movies. But I put on this trailer and I was expecting garbage. I was expecting to feel how I felt with Madam Web, how I felt with Craven the Hunter. But there was you know what it was? It was the horse moment at the very end. It was when Venom takes over the horse and Tom Hardy's like flying off of the horse. I cracked a little smile. I couldn't believe it. I cracked a little smile. Now, I didn't think that it looked fantastic. A lot of it looks like a lot of the plotting of the last 2 movies that we've gotten. I'm a sucker for, characters on the run type movies, so
Mhm.
that kind of angle in the trailer did have me a little bit intrigued. The symbiote in the bar being captured, by what everyone wants to call a variant because we already had, is it Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think I wanna say,
Mhm.
as, Mordo, and now he's in this movie, which, if actors get cast in other franchises, I don't variance is just such a lazy excuse. I really hope they don't go that route, but it is interesting. It does look like they're retconning a little bit of Spider-Man No Way Home, but I will say I went in expecting garbage, and I actually kind of was into the trailer. I thought it started off strong with that action sequence. I actually did kind of like the joke of Venom saying "We are Venom" too early. I thought that that was kind of fun banter, and then they had some really fun looking action sequences. It definitely looks like the biggest of the Venom movies. It looks like globe trotting. They've got a bunch of other symbiotes coming in there. I'm not saying I'm on board, but I'd see it. I
Yeah.
would actually be interested to check this one out. So you could say the trailer won me over.
Yeah.
You
It
could you
did its
could actually
job.
say the trailer won me over, and I was actually very surprised by that.
Yeah. Definitely did its job at the end of the day. Realistically, if you're creative, you'll win me over. Like the horse, the end, I was in the same boat as you, where I was like, okay, that was creative. With I wasn't a big fan of the first Joker, but when we were both talking about the Joker trailer, that
Mhm.
cinematic smile, that won me over. Where it's like, okay, if you're going to be super creative, I'm all in. and just do things that you haven't done before. And it's very, very watchable. That would be watchable to me and enjoyable enough that I might go see this.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for that question. We got Jessica Johnson saying subbed. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that, Jessica. Thanks for joining us. We got Nathan saying, what did you watch for the first time recently? I saw the Garfield movie, Platoon, The Breakfast Club, Good Boys, and Disney's Robin Hood. The only thing I can think of that I watched recently besides The Acolyte is Imaginary,
Mm-hmm.
which we kind of talked about a little bit on Members Talk Live this past Saturday. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was just a terrible, terrible movie. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. What are you watching, Ace? What have you been watching recently?
I'm actually rewatching The Boys currently. Acolyte I just watched as well. Just got done rewatching Cobra Kai.
Nice.
Kind of on rewatch. As far as the last thing I saw that was new, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was new. I actually just got done binging back to back Star Trek movies. The ones that came out with Chris Pine in them. Those are really good. And I'm a
Oh,
big
the J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, the one. Even though I was never a Star Trek fan. I was always on the Star Wars side of things. But those movies were really good. Great cast, like up and down. You know what I'm saying? Really great cast. And those movies were really good. I enjoyed the J.J. Abrams ones. I haven't seen the third one. I'm thinking about watching them, but the way the first two ended to me kind of always makes me feel satisfied with watching that duo and just ending it right there.
I've only ever seen the first one. I actually haven't. I own them all, but I
Oh,
haven't seen the second one or the third one. And at this point, I don't really remember the first one well enough. I'd have to go back and watch that.
I recommend the second one. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's the one with Benedict Cumberbatch is in
Yep.
that as
Hmm.
Khan, I
As
think.
Khan. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was when he was kind of emerging on the scene before he was Doctor Strange, I believe.
right. Is that his Sherlock days? Sherlock Holmes
I
days?
think I think that might have been around the same time if I
Yeah,
do say so. Yeah. So
that's great. I love that show.
he's a good
Yeah, I'll have
actor.
to check those out.
He's a great actor.
Uh, Big Blue Wrecking Crew says, "Hey guys, well, hello, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Thanks for joining us tonight. Got 80s kid from the 90s. Thank you for joining us, 80s kid. Always great to see you in here." Says, "The Acolyte is awesome. I love it. It's my new favorite Star Wars show. Also, Soul is my new favorite Jedi. He took Qui-Gon's spot. Let's talk Star Wars. How you doing, Zach and the Ace? We're definitely gonna talk Star Wars. We'll save our thoughts for a
Yep.
little bit later. But yeah, thank you for joining us, man. And I'm glad you're loving it. Honestly, I'm glad you're loving it." Nathan Dreader Movies says, which will you watch first this weekend, The Watchers or Bad Boys 4?
For me, probably Bad
I'm
Boys 4.
I'm gonna see Bad Boys 4 first. I actually haven't checked to see if my theater took The Watchers yet or not. I don't know if
Hmm.
it's playing.
Yeah, The Watchers keeps getting brought up, but I think Bad Boys 4 is the bigger movie that's this weekend, and
Yeah.
it's more content to cover with the obviously the Bad Boys saga. You could always do a ranking on that and stuff like that, and I just want to see where that kind of leads off. That one interests me a little bit more.
The Bad Boys saga is not something I ever thought I would hear. But
There
it's
you
true,
go.
yeah. 4 films. I think they have a fifth one too. Haven't they already confirmed a fifth one's coming? I think they
I I thought this was gonna be the last one. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So,
Ride or Die, it sounds like it should be the last one. I thought I
mhm.
heard somewhere Will Smith said, or maybe it was Martin Lawrence said that we've got another one kicking in us. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because I'm not the biggest Bad Boys fan. I like the first one, didn't really like the second one, and I thought the third one was decent. I enjoyed
Mhm.
it. So I'm looking to have some fun action with the Bad Boys. I'm not expecting anything great. And then the Watchers, I am interested because it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, but that's
Mhm.
kind of the only thing that has me interested in watching it. So I might not get around to seeing that one, but I'd be interested in seeing it. Collective Movie Man, beloved channel member, thank you for joining us. Collective Movie Man says, "Hey Zach, how you doing tonight? I'm seeing The Watchers tomorrow, and then Friday seeing Bad Boys 4. Nice, man. I hope you have a great time." Our buddy, Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane, a beloved channel member. Thank you for being here, man. Says, "What's up, guys? Haven't had a chance to see Acolyte yet, so I'll need to sit out on the show for a bit." No worries, dude. No worries. I don't think we're going to talk spoilers about it, honestly. We're probably just going to talk general thoughts, but absolutely understand, dude, if you got to jump out. 80s Gift from 90 says, "I love how the Acolyte is a Star Wars property that can be introduced to new fans. It's set 100 years before anything. This is the show I've been looking for." Awesome. Yeah, like I said, we'll get into all of our thoughts.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm in
get
that
into
same
all
boat
of
as
our
him.
thoughts. You're in the same boat? All right,
Yeah, same.
we'll get into that. Nathan Dread Movie says, "Are you going to watch Hitman this weekend? Are you going to see that one?"
No, probably not this weekend. No.
I
You?
think is that on Netflix? I can't remember if is that on Netflix or is that
I'm
theatrical?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. I think it's Netflix, and if it's on Netflix, I might get around to it. But if it's in theaters, I probably won't find the time to do that.
Mm-hmm. I think it might be theatrical. Not sure. It's not. It's not pop. No, no, no. It is Netflix. It is Netflix. Yes.
It is? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If it's Netflix, then yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll find time. Hey, you know what? I found time to watch Atlas. If I found time to watch that, there's something I watched recently too. If I found time to watch Atlas, I'm sure I can find time to watch Hitman because I'm pretty sure Hitman's getting pretty good reviews and Atlas did not. Michael Entity, beloved channel member and friend, what's going on, dude? Says, Zach, I know I keep begging on you to watch Sling Blade, but scratch that for a bit because you definitely got to watch Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's truly a phenomenal film. Wow. Well, yeah, I have not gotten around to watching Sling Blade, as you might have guessed, and I've never heard of that. Have you heard of either of these movies?
Haven't heard
No?
of that either. Nope. But Michael, suggests some good stuff, so I might have to put that on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Jay Pylon in here. What's going on, Jay? Thanks for joining us. Says, what's good, people? Thumbs up. Well, thank you so much, Jay. Always appreciate that. Brandon McDaniel says, what did you guys think about the Venom trailer? We gave our thoughts on the Venom trailer. Surprisingly better than I thought it would be. Nathan Jenner Movie says, are you planning on purchasing the nice looking Deadpool 3 popcorn bucket? We talked about that a little bit on Saturday. If I could, I would. But I know this guy, I don't know if you've got any laying around at the moment, but I know that this guy's a big popcorn bucket enthusiast.
Yeah, I got about 2 laying around right here. Got my Flash one that lights up. This was from the Flash movie. This was probably the best. This is this was probably the best part about going to the theater because that movie stunk.
I enjoyed the Flash. Come on, man.
And then this one's from this one's the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness one. Doesn't really do anything, but it's like the box and opens up from all sides and stuff like that. But those are the only 2. And then, and I also have the Blue Beetle one. That's an actual backpack. So that's
as a
cool.
Popcorn bucket. It's
because it's a scarab
backpack. Oh,
because the scarab is on. That's actually pretty creative. It's a scarab. Because the scarab is on his back, so you actually keep the popcorn in there, and it works as like a backpack.
Not very practical though.
No, if it was a drink, maybe because then you could have the straw, stuff like that. Yeah. But the Deadpool 3 popcorn, I will be adding that to the collection. If I get my hands on one, I might send you one then. If I can get a hands on an extra one, I definitely might send it your way.
Dude,
you said you don't know if you have it.
That would be incredible. I wouldn't even know what to say to that. I'll take you up on it, though. I'll take you up on that.
Okay, definitely.
Michael Entity says, before the devil knows your dad, before the devil knows you're dead, I think is what he meant to put. Has Ethan Hawke and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It also has 2 out of 3 live action Aunt Mays. It's a movie that'll stick with you for a whole. I'm being honest. All right, man. I mean, which Aunt Mays?
I was just about to ask the same thing. I'm about to Google it.
We're talking. It's a Sally Field, Marissa.
Okay, Tomei.
What's her name? Marissa Tomei, and then Rosemary Harris, I want to say.
Okay, so Sally Fields, I believe, was the one from
Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, so
all right.
2 out of 3 Aunt May. So there you go. So I wonder if they're going to tie it into Spider-Man in the multiverse anyway. So we'll see.
80s Kid from the 90s says, I sense High Republic movies coming soon, which would make me happy. I mean, they've been talking about that for years. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but they've been talking about it. So we'll see. Michael Entity says, my last comment had a lot of spelling errors. I apologize. No worries, man. We figured it out. 80s Kid saying, Minions are awesome. Banana. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I mean, to an extent, I feel like they're drawn out. Obviously, they make money. The Minions movie was great. Rise of the Minions, I kind of left that one. I didn't enjoy that one. Despicable Me 1 and 2. Despicable Me 1 is good. Classics. 2 was watchable. So I think there are more hits than misses in this franchise.
I think that's a glowing review than most would give this franchise.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, yeah.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, I honestly enjoy I think it's cute. I think it knows what it is and it sticks to that, and that's why it's successful.
Of course, what I'm saying. Let's not forget it's for the children.
Yeah, and my grandma, my mom, love the Minions. I don't know what it
Mhm,
is about the Minions, but they make kids and old people go crazy. Not my mom.
mhm.
My mom's not old. She might be watching this, so I'm not gonna put that out there. Nathan's Better Movie says, haven't seen the Acolyte yet, but I am burned out on Disney Plus. Star Wars, is it worth checking out? We will get to that, my friend. We will let you know. Trev's movies. What's going on, Trev? Thanks for joining my buddy. It says not another church movie is so much worse than Madam Web. I'd say fight me, but I know no one else has seen it. I gotta watch it again, which is like pains me to say I gotta watch Madam Web again. But I'm seriously debating whether or not Imaginary is my least favorite movie of the year.
Mhm.
It's going up against Madam Web.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard for me to believe that there's. I gave it a 3, Madam Web. Now I was being generous. It's hard for me to believe there will be another movie this year or maybe ever that gets lower than that. Like I know you guys gave it like I remember we were on your talk show. You guys gave it like ones and stuff like that, and I was like, I was generous then.
Oh
I
yeah,
definitely gave it a 3,
you were definitely the most generous of us all.
and I
I
thought I
think
was rough on it. So,
I think I might have given it a 2, but I don't know, man. I think that could go down to a 1.5 if I
mhm.
watched it again. I don't know if I'll ever watch that again. 80s Kid from the 90s. Venom 3 looks goofy. Too many jokes that ruin the cool moments. I mean, I didn't find the trailer was as goofy or as like the jokes weren't really in this trailer. Besides one at the beginning and then at the end, they kind of really stuck to that somber, oh, it's emotional, the final one with these guys, the final ride type thing. We'll see how the next trailer turns out. The next trailer might give us more of the jokes and more of the goofiness. But did you find the trailer that was overly goofy or
No, outside of that one part you were talking about, where they were trying to like, kind of like, we are Venom, like that. It wasn't really goofy. It was very action packed. The trailer was very
Mhm.
action packed, in my opinion. So, maybe I think that's what they're gonna lean on. But obviously, they're gonna have that campy type humor in that because this is what these movies have been kind of pushing.
Oh
So
yeah, it's the
expect
franchise.
that, yeah, expect that throughout the course of the movie. But it didn't seem like a lot in the trailer.
Yeah, fair enough. Trez Movies says, I learned a lot about brain rot today. My brother gave me crap for watching Has Been Hotel and the amazing digital circus, even though he has no idea what he's talking about. The internet ruins everything. The most of what I learned is that the problem seems to be TikTok. I mean, it's pretty easy to blame TikTok for everything that's wrong with what's going on today. But I mean, I will say there are a lot of people that would rather watch TikToks than watch a movie. I mean, even go out to the movies. We've kind of seen that happen recently.
Yeah, I get
I
stuck on the Instagram reels type stuff, because
Me too.
you know what it is. We live in a day and age where people want things quickly
Yep.
and right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Like as simple as that. And I'm gonna try to remember that point when we talk about the acolytes without going into like spoilers and stuff like that, because like they just want things as quick as possible, and that's what it comes down to.
All right. I'm curious to see what your further thoughts on that is for the Acolyte. Age Gift 90 says I'm looking forward to Inside Out 2, as am I. Are you
I
looking
am
forward
too.
to that?
I
Yeah.
am too. Yeah. The first one was good. The first one I actually put the first one's kind of like one of my comfort shows where I'm like, okay, I'm a comfort movies. I'm gonna put this on and kind of just relax and take take a nap, stuff like that. But it is a really good movie, really heartfelt, very deep emotionally, and I feel like this one needs to pick up on that. Do you feel like it has some big shoes to fill? Do you think it's gonna be able to live up to the first one?
It's definitely got big shoes to fill, I think. I mean, living up to the first one, I think that's a lot to ask, but I think as long as it's good and enjoyable, I think it'll do well. Pixar, I don't know. What was the was Lightyear the last theatrical
Yes.
release? But yeah,
Hmm.
see, they're coming off a Lightyear.
No, no.
Like,
Elemental was. Elemental
oh,
was.
Element, you're right. Elemental
Yeah.
was in theaters too. Okay, that one was definitely better than Lightyear. So I think they need a hit for sure. Elemental did all right though, right? It crossed over that $500
Yeah.
million mark.
It
So
it wasn't marketed well. See, Elemental was really, really good. I actually added one of the songs to my regular playlist. The Steal the Show song is really, really good. Just everything about Elemental was phenomenal. It wasn't marketed well though. That's what the problem
mhm.
was. But it caught word of mouth from people that enjoyed it. And like myself, I had raving reviews about it. I was actually disappointed. Like we know how we talked about last week, people didn't go to the theater. I didn't see Elemental right away, and I was disappointed that I didn't see it right away because I saw it like a couple weeks
Mm.
after it came out, and I didn't do a review. And I left the theater feeling disappointed with myself. I'm like, man, I should have went to see this when it first dropped. Like I said, it wasn't marketed well.
That was the same release day as The Flash.
Yeah, so you know what movie I saw. Well, actually, I had early tickets to the Flash, so I actually got to see Flash a couple of days early. And
Oh,
Warner Bros
nice.
was in the building, and they lied to me. They were like, "This is going to be such a good movie," and
They lied to everybody.
I walked out like, "You guys are liars."
Coming from someone who likes that movie quite a bit, they lied
Hmm.
to everybody about that being the best superhero movie ever made.
Yeah, it's just it was doomed to fail. It just had way too many writers, way too many pushbacks, stuff like that. Ezra Miller with his stuff, with his shenanigans going on, it's like it was kind of destined to flop.
Yeah, absolutely. Movie reviews Ryan Lane saying, I enjoyed the Venom 3 trailer, if only for the fact that Venom series feels like a throwback to when superhero trilogies were just that, trilogies. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I can see that,
Um,
but they're also trying to tie it into the MCU in a
yeah,
sense. So I mean, I get that. Like he's talking about like the blades, how the blades feel like the blades, and
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I could see that for some people. I agree.
Venom just kind of takes me back to when superhero movies weren't good though. Like the way that they throw back Venom, it's like you want it to come out in the early 2000s, but it doesn't work nowadays very well for me.
Hmm.
Travis Movie says, Sue me, the Venom movies are two of my favorite guilty pleasures. Also, after Morbius and Madam Web, hey, Venom ain't so bad now, is it? I mean, it's definitely the best of but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
If your bar is Morbius and Madam Web, I mean, bravo.
Then I just for people that and this is not to like insult anybody at all. For people that be like, yo, I love the Venom movies. First of all, to each his own. Movies are, it just depends, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody likes different things,
We're
and
in the
that's okay.
minority though. Many
Yeah.
people like the Venom movies. Like
Yeah.
they're very popular.
They're good. They're good movies to put on while you're doing stuff around the house because you don't really have to. I hear that all the
Yeah.
time. Like they're very good rewatchable, like on TV. But movies like that, I feel like. Do you like the MCU at all? If you like those movies, you gotta like love the early onset MCU. I know movies are subjective at the end of the day. It just depends on what everybody likes. But it's like to me, it's just they're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Toxic Gamers in here. What's going on, Toxic Gamers? Saying Olo, Zach. Well, Olo, back to you, man. How's your day been? It's been
That's a
going
good
pretty
movie.
well.
That's a good movie too.
Yes, that's Megamind.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
Are you watching the sequel series by any chance?
I didn't. I actually did not know about that until right now. I was
Oh,
8 years
really?
old when I found that out. So tell me about that a little bit, real quick.
It's garbage.
Is it? Is Will Ferrell part of it? Is he attached to it?
No, 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 no. None of
Oh.
the originals are back. I think it's on Paramount Plus. I think, but
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, it's for the kids. It's for the kids, and that's fine if the kids want to watch it. But
Hmm.
it doesn't have what that original movie had. I wish they had just done a real theatrical sequel and put in like effort and time and money into it. But they kind of just put it over there and forgot about it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Trez Movie says the Bad Boy Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2. That's awesome.
I'm in the minority, and I say I like. I'm actually one of those people that enjoy the Twilight movies.
You
So
know,
I actually
I
do.
had a big Twilight phase when I was in middle school. Like I haven't
Hmm.
gone back to watch them since, but I read all the books and then
Hmm.
I watched all the movies. Like I was really into it. And then like after I finished watching Breaking Dawn Part 2 in theaters, I just kind of like forgot about it and
Hmm.
haven't gone back since. But I remember that baby freaking me out quite a bit though in
Yeah, that
Breaking
was
Dawn
bad.
Part 2.
Yeah, that was
Um
bad.
yeah, that was a little much for me. And I
Yeah,
don't feel like the way they explained Jacob imprinting on a baby really took away the creepiness of it. They tried. They tried,
I
but it was
yeah.
hard to work around it.
But it's like okay, when I go rewatch these movies, right, especially with people that haven't watched them before, it's different levels to that right there. First, when he imprints on, he looks on her like a protector, which I get that. Then it's like the brother. Then it's like it doesn't have to be like a love interest, but obviously people, are like, yo, that's creepy and stuff like that. Me personally, I understand it. And I think cinematically that scene is actually pretty dope. How they're shooting all through, like they're showing their entire future and stuff like that.
That's
I thought
true.
that scene was pretty dope. But I actually one of those that series is actually one of my vices, along with the High School Musical movies as well. Like I'm a big fan of those. I saw that you made a
Nice.
video on that the other day. And I'm a big fan of the High School Musical, the series. I have no problem watching things like that just want to make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I had gotten into the Twilights with the ex-girlfriend at the time, had no idea it was even a book, watched the first movie, and I'm like, the first one, was okay, a different take on vampires and werewolves. And obviously the biggest problem that everybody had was the shiny skin and stuff like that, too much love interest, but it didn't bother me. I like
Yeah.
rom-coms and stuff like that. But then once I was invested, then it started getting more action-packed. Dawn, what was it? New Moon was good. Eclipse was really good as
I
well.
really liked New Moon when I first watched it.
Exactly. So I mean, they're very watchable. It gets a bad rap because people think of them as they're girly movies. They're like, oh yeah, but
Yeah.
they're entertaining.
That was a big thing back in the day. But
Yep.
you know what? I might have to go back and check them out again because I'm at the point now where I kind of forget details and forget storylines of it.
Mm-hmm.
80s kid from the 90s says, "What did you like about the Acolyte?" Okay, let's just get into this. Let's
Everybody
get
wants to
into
talk
this
about that.
topic. Let's talk about the Acolyte. We're half an hour into the show. That's usually when we begin the topics, anyways. So welcome everybody. We're not done taking your comments and questions. Keep chatting. We'll get back to them in just a second. But first, we're gonna talk about this. So, Disney Plus Star Wars shows, man. I don't know how you necessarily have felt about the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. For me, they've been more miss than hit. I would
Mm-hmm.
say I really loved Andor. I thought Andor was the best of them. I like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. That's kind of where it ends. I thought Ahsoka was fine. Obi-Wan disappointed me greatly. Mandalorian season 3 was kind of a disappointment, and I really disliked Book of Boba Fett. So
Mm-hmm.
they have not been on the hottest track record. So when the Acolyte was coming out, they were talking about going back hundreds of years, visiting the Jedi, visiting the Sith, doing a murder mystery angle to it. I was intrigued. I was like, okay, that's interesting. That sounds like something different for Star Wars. That sounds new. But when the trailers were coming out, I just couldn't get excited just because of what had come in the past. It just wasn't there for me. But now the Acolyte has premiered its first 2 episodes on Disney Plus. And I'm actually going to I want to pull up this article from Forbes. They wrote a little review on the first 2 episodes. And I'm going to pull them up real quickly because I feel like what they say here is kind of a reflection of how I felt while watching the whole first 2 episodes myself. They say the show itself is certainly a step up in quality from Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett, but wouldn't call it great. Though I'm only 2 episodes in, it could go either way. I like that you don't need to have as much knowledge of previous animated shows like you did in Ahsoka, though overall I'd probably put this series about on the same level as that show. It's fine, leagues better than the 3rd season of Mandalorian, but not as good as the first 2 seasons of Mando, and certainly nowhere near as impressive or compelling as Andor. Though there is a lot more Jedi fighting, and Jedi fighting is pretty fun. So that comes to us from Forbes, and that's kind of how I would feel about the show too. I think it's fine. I haven't really found the hook yet. The mystery that they're setting up with this Jedi murderer, it's not even really a mystery of the Jedi murderer. It's more a mystery of the Jedi murderer's connection to our lead character, which isn't really that intriguing to me, if I'm being honest with you. And I think a big reason for that is I'm not finding the characters very strong so far. Now, granted, we're only 2 episodes in. We're being introduced to these characters. We're going to learn more about them along the way. But I will say I'm an hour into the show now. I've had a full hour with these characters, and I really don't feel any attachments yet. I don't feel... You know what I felt when I was watching the show? And this isn't necessarily a knock on the actors, but when I was watching the show, and I felt this a little bit with other Star Wars Disney Plus shows as well, I harkened back to... There's an interview with, I believe it's Mark Hamill talking for Harrison Ford, where they're talking about the dialogue that George Lucas wrote. And allegedly, Harrison Ford said to George Lucas, "You can write this stuff, Lucas, but you can't say this stuff."
Yeah.
I don't feel like the actors are pulling off the dialogue for me. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. But when I watch the show, I don't believe what they're saying. I don't really buy into it. There's also... Okay, you know what? Before I get into my disappointments and negatives, let's talk about the positives first, because I want to be positive. The action was great.
Oh, absolutely.
The action in the show I thought was really, really fun, really cool. It's really cool to see a hand-to-hand combat in Star Wars, and the way that they incorporate the hand-to-hand combat with the Force and with the Jedi powers, it's pretty creative and pretty fun. I actually do like that. Going back to the prequel era, I like that the prequels are getting more love. I think the prequels are very flawed. I understand all the criticisms people have with the prequels. I have a lot of them with myself, but I almost enjoy that era more than any other Star Wars era. I just love the way the prequels look and the time period of that. So going back to that time period, I thought was a lot of fun. They made sure to course correct those Trade Federation guys, though. Like
Yeah.
the minute those Trade Federation guys started talking, I was like, "Oh, you guys fixed this. You
Mhm.
guys 2024 this. Good job, guys. You fixed it."
Good
Um,
retcon. Yeah.
and while the characters aren't really capturing me just yet, I am liking Saul, the
Oh,
master Jedi that they have going on here.
yep. The guy from
There's
the Squid Games. Yep.
yes,
Mhm.
him. I think he's doing the best job so far, in my opinion. He is the one that's kind of make me want to keep watching the show, to be honest with you. But
Mhm.
before we get deeper into it, Ace, give us your overall thoughts. What did you think about the first two episodes of Acolyte? How's it hitting you so far?
Yeah. I'm sold. I actually stayed away from trailers because, like you had said, Star Wars with it's kind of hit or miss. In general, I like the Mandalorian first, season 1 and 2. I don't think it is. I don't think I've ever met anybody that didn't like that those shows. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they run really well with the dynamic of Grogu and Mando, stuff like that. Um, I liked Obi-Wan. I thought it was solid. I didn't see Andor because I just wasn't interested. This
Mm,
right here, to me, plain and simple, with me personally, I want my Star Wars to have Jedi. I know that seems like it's kind of like but I actually like the Rogue One movie, but my Star Wars to me have to have Jedi in it. That's what interests me. And to
right.
see a different dynamic, like you were talking about with the hand-to-hand combat from the Jedi, was actually a fresh take on that because it's not just about pulling out a lightsaber and showing what you can do with that. And the one thing that I will say that Disney does with a lot of people don't like the Disney shows, but I think they're going into new territory that we have not get to see from the movies. Like even the sequels, you know what I'm saying? Just show me something new. Like I was talking about with the Venom movie, show me something creative. Like when we saw Kylo Ren stop the blast. We have yet to see that on screen. When we saw Darth Vader pull down that carrier, we have yet to see that. Luke go off. In this movie, we have yet to see hand to hand really just fisticuffs with the Jedi. And I like that. What's the girl's name? Her name is Amanda Steinberg. I like her. I think she's doing a very well job without any
That's our
spoilers.
lead character.
Yeah, that's the lead character. That's the girl that's playing. Her name is Ray in the casting. Her name is May in the casting. May. I'm liking what she's doing so far in the role that she's in, but also Saul as well. Like you said, the guy from the Squid Games, he's phenomenal. And then you have Daphne King doing well. Daphne King right now is the girl, kind of Disney's darling. How she's supposed to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, how she's kind of in this, heavily makeup, so you might miss her if you're really not paying attention.
Yeah.
But I'm sold on this based on the 2 episodes. I think what I was talking about earlier, it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty much we know what we're getting. We
Yeah.
know what the problem is, and it's just about getting to that problem. But they're also setting up dynamics to be able to switch. You can tell that certain things and certain perspectives are going to come out differently at the ending than they are at the beginning. So I think it's very well done, and I'm enjoying it so far. And I actually can't wait to see what direction they go in. How many episodes is it?
I
8?
think it's supposed to be 8.
Okay, so they
So
dropped
we
the
have
first
6
two.
more to go.
They dropped the first two, and I thought that
Yeah.
where they left the second one off, I think I kind of would have been a little bit disappointed if it didn't come to that conclusion. I don't want it without giving away any spoilers and stuff like
Right.
that. Like if they would have prolonged it, I think I kind of would have been like, okay, a little bit annoyed. But they got to it. It was a little bit predictable, but I'm okay with things being predictable as long as it's executed right. Because if you don't stick the landing, you're not going to sell me. But I like the action sequences, like you said. The visuals look good as well. The actors, I could kind of agree with what you're saying as far as it's only 2 episodes in. It's hard to really be emotionally connected to them, especially with the side characters like the Jedi apprentices, the Padawans. But I think maybe in time we'll be connected with them.
I hope so. I do. I mean, I always get a little bit worried because, you're already 2 episodes in,
Mm-hmm.
and we're learning. We're learning about these people for sure. But I feel like in some ways it's very quick. I
Mm-hmm.
feel the episodes go. First of all, this is a problem with a lot of Disney Plus shows, not just Star Wars. Marvel does it too. They're too short. These episodes are too short. They say it's 42 minutes and then they give you 26. That's
Oh, because
not
it's
right.
long credits. It's really
Yeah,
long
that's not
credits.
right. That is
Hmm.
false advertisement right there. I
Hmm.
should sue them. No, it's they're very short. They go by really fast, and that's always an issue for me with these shows. I don't know if this is just me, but this is 100 years before the prequels that we watched.
Hmm.
In some ways, it takes me out that it feels more modern.
Yeah.
In some ways, I wish that they had gone just a little bit further with the development of their era, of their time period, because this almost in some ways feels more in the future than the prequels did. And
Hmm.
it's it's 2024 technology, it's the way characters speak and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just I wanted to be more immersed. I wanted to be
Yeah.
more immersed into the time period, and I just didn't feel that.
Hmm.
I felt more disconnected from George Lucas's prequels to this, and not because it's set 100 years in the past, but because it feels way more modern than that movie. And maybe that's just the filmmaking, maybe that's just how it is. But I will say what's starting to kind of bother me, and this is the nitpicky thing. I will say
Hmm.
this is a nitpicky thing, and I won't give any spoilers away about it, but they cannot decide what kills people in this universe
Oh,
anymore. You
yeah.
can take a lightsaber to the gut and be fine, go chase after Luke and Tatooine the next day. But if you get stabbed by a little knife,
Yeah.
if a little knife gets you, this a little knife.
I see. See, I think it's about where you're getting hit though, and obviously everybody talks about that because of Obi-Wan. You know what I'm saying, like disappearing and stuff like that.
Ahsoka did it.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan did it with Reva. Ahsoka did it with that other girl in like episode 2 as well.
yeah. Definitely inconsistent with that. I could see what you're doing as far as like with the nitpicks. I could get that, but it was definitely like the Trinity character. She was good in it as well. It's good to see her back on screen. I don't remember the last time
Yep.
outside of the Matrix movies. I haven't really seen her in anything, so it's good that she was into this. Obviously, she's right behind you. One of the main things they're pushing for the promos, but I enjoyed it for what it was worth. I'm hooked on it. I actually can't wait to see more. Um, they're gonna definitely take their time releasing it. But with this movie, I mean, with this show, it was like one of those things where, like you said, it's quick, but it's kind of a slow paced. It was a little bit slower paced, but quick. And then all they really need to do is just stick the landing. Like that's
Yeah.
what the Disney shows, not just Star Wars, Marvel itself, have a hard time with sticking the landing. The finales kind of just like are so anticlimactic, and it's just like that's what ends up disappointing me at the end of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the last thing I'll say before we move on is I do feel like it's lacking a little bit of energy, and I do hope the
Hmm.
energy picks up in the rest of the episodes, because like I said, like Disney Plus shows, or I haven't said it yet, but like I usually say, Disney Plus shows, um I don't think they do their pacing well. I don't
That's
think
true.
that they pace their shows out. I feel like they always like prolong out or drag out like the first 4 episodes of a 6 episode show, and then it's like boom boom, we're done. And it's like, whoa,
Long, yeah,
okay, like
long setup and rush to the
rushed.
finish. Yeah, long
Yeah.
setup and rush to the finish. The only show I feel like in Disney Plus that hasn't done that is Loki season 2, because it had the same
Yes.
showrunner, in my opinion. And that's what happens when you have one guy that shout outs to I forget the main guy that wrote it, but wrote it, presented it all, and they made no changes. That's the beauty of just having one guy in control of everything and not a whole bunch of chefs in the kitchen. You can do that, but like you said, a lot of these times they have long setups and then they rush to the finish. The final episode, they're like rushing. You know what was
Yeah.
really well paced? X-Men 97. They need to have
Yes.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just consistently all throughout the jump. But yeah, these Star Wars shows have a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes from here. I will say so far, you're hooked. So far
Hmm.
you're liking it.
So do you need another episode or two to really say you're all in for it?
Yeah. I need to see uh what they got next. I
Yeah.
need to see what, because the next episode will put us about halfway through the show at
Hmm.
that point. And I'm not there yet. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a fan yet.
Yeah.
I would say I'm intrigued. I think there's promise with some of the ideas that they're bringing to the table, but I'm not captivated by it yet.
Yeah. Something's gonna have to happen. If it's 8 episodes, because like you said, the Jedi killer, let's say without any spoilers, she's already halfway to the goal So it's like something's gonna have to happen in
That's
between
true.
now and the end to be able to prolong this for 6 more episodes. So I expect a lot of twists and turns, like I said, change of dynamics that add to character building. And the characters, like I said, I think are okay. I think these first 2 episodes were set up, definitely set up for the future. And I think they're on the right path, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people, and I just like the fact that it's so detached from the walkers. Like Kenny Sparks I was on his channel. He said this, how it's like you're not anywhere near that, so you get to tell brand new stories without having to feel like it's attached to the other Star Wars stuff. You can just enjoy it for what it's worth, and I'm all for that.
Yeah. Well, question goes to you guys. The Acolyte had its first 2 episodes. What did you guys think of the premiere? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it disappoint you? Are you going to keep watching, or have you already tapped out? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions on that, guys. And before we get back into the comments and questions, we're going to do another topic, which is this. So, the theaters have been struggling a little bit recently. The theaters have had trouble either getting people in the doors or keeping their movies in theaters long enough for people to discover them before waiting to go on the streaming. I mean, the theatrical window used to be 90 days, was you keep your movie in theaters for 90 days and then release it on physical media on a video on demand site for rental, something like that. They've shrunk that down to 45 days. Some things come out in 2 weeks. Once they've been in theaters, you can already rent it in like 2 weeks. And the audience is getting accustomed to just getting these things at home quicker, easier. And it's one of the reasons that they're not going to the movie theaters. And in that, the movie theaters are struggling and the studios are struggling. And they got to find out something to fix this. Well, one studio that looks like they're smartening up and looks like they know what they have and they know that they can make money on it is Disney and Pixar, because it has just come out that Disney Pixar will be keeping Inside Out 2 in theaters, not for 45 days, not for 60 days, not for the standard 90 days, but 100 days in theaters. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. And they say Pixar confirms long theatrical window for Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is about the personified emotions inside the mind of a 13-year-old Riley, but the Pixar, which will open the sequel 9 years after the $858 million grossing original on June 14th, it's the first test of a recent rethink, getting it into the heads that Pixar's movies won't be available to stream on Disney Plus until after a long exclusive theatrical window. Pixar president Jim Morris told Bloomberg that Inside Out 2 will screen for at least 100 days in theaters, more than doubling the 47-day window of 2022's Lightyear and surpassing the 89-day wait for 2023's Elemental to arrive on Disney Plus. A slow burn at the box office, the animated rom-com was Disney Plus's biggest movie premiere since Pixar's own Turning Red, and went on to the top Nielsen streaming movies charts when it eventually landed on the streamer after 3 months in theaters. So that's important for what we're about to talk about here, because here is what they're saying over at Disney and Pixar. First of all, before we get into the obvious, making money at the theaters, keeping it longer for people to discover it, all that kind of stuff, with Bob Chapek, when Bob Chapek was CEO, before Bob Iger has now returned, he burned Pixar people. I mean, it was all over the trades. They did not hide it. Pixar was very upset of the treatment that they were being under Bob Chapek. He put their Pixar movies onto Disney Plus, Soul, Turning Red, and there was Luca, all premiered on Disney Plus, did not get theatrical releases, and Pixar was mad about that. So this is obviously a course correction and kind of reassuring Pixar, hey, we care about your movies in theaters. We are going to give you guys we want you guys to succeed in theaters. We're going to help you to succeed. But beyond the Pixar jadedness that they're trying to fix over at Disney, Inside Out 2 is going to be huge. Inside Out 2, as it mentioned in that article, the first one made $858 million. That was 9 years ago. So you had people who were 9 years old who saw Inside Out 2, who are now nostalgic, or Inside Out, who are now nostalgic about that movie. They've grown up. They're now 18 years old, 19 years old, and they might have, I don't know, there's some of them that have kids that they're going to be bringing this to. And when you put it into perspective of 100 days exclusively theatrical, even people who don't go to the movies all the time are not necessarily wanting to wait that long, especially if they're a kid or if they have a family that want to go see this. I mean, they are making it so that in September, I mean, this is going to open in June.
Yep.
In September, there can be a family that's like, "Hey, you know what? It's calmed down a little bit. We're not doing anything tonight. Inside Out's still playing. I heard it was great. Let's go check it out." Is that on Disney Plus yet? No, it's still in theaters. Oh, let's go check it out in theaters. This honestly takes this movie from, in my opinion, opening to like, or not opening, but like ending its run at like 900 million to
To
putting
making
it
a
over that
billion.
$1 billion mark. I
Absolutely.
think if this is as good as the first one, if this captivates audiences, even if it's not as good, but it captivates audiences and people come out enjoying this thing and word of mouth spreads, this will have legs and legs and legs and legs for days in the summer. Because there's also, besides Despicable Me 4, which, is going to, if they don't stick to what Disney's doing, it's going to come and go. This is going to be like the longest running kids franchise movie played in theaters the entire summer.
Summer. Yep.
This will be what the kids can go to the entire summer. I think this is brilliant. I think this is what we need for the theaters, for Disney to get back on track. And I hope that we get to see more of this. Ace, what do you think of the decision to keep Inside Out 2 in theaters for 100 days, not 45, not 90, 100? And do you think it's a smart move on Disney's part?
First and foremost, I think they heard our last members talk live. And if you guys haven't watched it, make sure you go watch it on Zach's playlist where we got to talk about this very thing. What's wrong with the theater? They definitely are subscribers to you. And they're like, yo, we got to put this out 100 days, 3 months, over a little over 3 months. This is what the movie theaters need. Cover the whole summer. Like, don't get it twisted like it's going to be in every single theater.
Right.
Like, there's some theaters that are going to take it out early. There's some theaters that are going to take it out of the bigger ones and put it in the smaller ones. But at least it's giving you an opportunity to watch it. Like, go see it early, and then they'll put like maybe from like 6 showings to like 2 and then 1, stuff like that. But at least it's there giving people the opportunity to make money. Because no matter what, people are going to go watch a movie. Even you never really see an empty theater. You'll see like maybe 2 or 3 people in there, but they're still going to watch it. But it needs the
Lisa
theaters need
Frankenstein had
this.
nobody when
Oh,
I went
I
to
didn't
go
see
see
that
Lisa.
one though. So I mean, I went to this past weekend when I was working. I went to see the Blue Angels documentary, and I was in there, and there was like 2 other people in there, and I didn't think it's been out and it's on Netflix already, but yet people still went. But this is what the theaters need. Everybody needs to take note of this, and I hope it does well enough that everybody starts emulating this and
Mhm.
keeping movies in the theater longer, because people like us, we love going to the theater. I go see movies that I enjoy multiple times. Like, even if like Deadpool, Wolverine, I imagine I'm probably going to go see it double digit times. That's what I do when it comes to
Mhm.
movies I like. And this movie is something that I would love to go see like by myself and then go see with my niece again, but it's what the theaters need. And it's like what we talked about the entire time in your last members talk live. You're making things too streaming accessible,
Yeah.
and that's really hurting the theaters at the end of the day. Why wait? Why would I go see a theater? Why would I go to the theater to see it when I can wait a month, pay $20 as opposed to over $100, and then I can just watch it from the comfort of my own home? You're now making theaters irrelevant at the end of the day. And you know what I think they also should do? They should do a double feature with the first one, in my opinion. Why not do like back to backs where you can get a ticket,
Ooh.
like have watch the first one and then have like a 30-minute break because there's going to be kids, and then watch the second one. I think that would draw
Yeah,
people in.
sometimes it's hard to get kids to sit through one movie. I don't know if they can do a double feature.
I'd do it. I'd do it. I'd go watch both. But I think it's what the theaters need. Like, hopefully it works out and they're on to something here. Like, but we can only hope. We'll see. We'll see when we pick up this conversation in what, September is when it'll be over, and we'll see how much
Yeah.
it really makes. And then the thing is, how quick after September are they going to stream it? Are they
Well,
going to wait a month?
that's a question I'll throw to you is the box office. What do you think this does for the box? Where do you think Inside Out 2 was going to land, and now that they're extending it this amount for the box office run, has that changed how much money you think it's going to make at the box office?
Let me see. I'm gonna look up Inside Out, the first one.
The first one did 858 million
Okay,
at the end of its
that
run.
this is gonna make more than that because of how good the first one was, and then meme culture picked up on the first one too and made it popular. So I think this could hit a billion, especially with its extended run. It definitely. I agree with you what you were saying. You were saying it easily should get about 900, but a billion is very accessible for this movie as long as it's gonna be in the theater.
I mean, we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. We're talking about Despicable Me 4. Does this
Make it like a
give it the
third.
legs to make it the
Mhm.
biggest movie of the summer?
Also, you have to take in consideration when you're talking about a billion. Box office tickets are more expensive now than they were back
True.
then, so that adds on to it as well. Um, we're gonna have to see, but I think it's a good shot. Yeah, I'm looking at 858 billion a million. I think it could get to a billion. I think so. If it's good, if word of mouth
Yeah,
spreads and it's
it has to
good,
be good.
yeah. But they're also gonna have to continue marketing themselves. Like for some reason, it kills me that movies hit the theater and then they decide, okay, we're gonna start selling ourselves. Like still make commercials for it, stuff like that. And I think people will end up going. And like I said, 3 months is a long time to be in theaters, and it gives people that time to say, hey, I didn't get a chance to catch it the first month, but it's still out now. And like I forgot who said it on your members talk, but movie adjacent stuff, makes you brings in other attention as well, because like Deadpool and Wolverine and other movies, people will go see that, but like, oh, maybe I don't really want to see that. Let's go see Inside Out.
Right.
And that'll bring in other people too. So
Very true. I will say, beyond just fixing Pixar's jadedness, beyond making money at the box office, this shows a lot of confidence and faith in Inside Out 2.
mhm.
I mean, the fact that they're gonna leave it in for this long when they could, like, okay, we'll put it out and then we'll just put it on Disney Plus and people will subscribe to watch it there and all that like, they know what they have here, I think. I think this is what they're telling us right now. They're like, "This is great. People are gonna love it. They're gonna come back again and again and again and again, and we want them to come back as many times as they can. So let's extend this thing as far as we can." I think this is just nothing but green flags for
Yeah.
Inside Out 2. And it makes me even more excited to go see this movie when it comes out
Yeah.
in
The thing I'm gonna add to it,
next week.
the thing I'm gonna add to, they have to be patient with the because this is the thing. If it's spread out like it is, people aren't gonna go rush to see it. They still might see it. So the opening
Mhm.
day box office numbers might not be what they want them to be, but just be patient and see how it pans out throughout the entire summer. Because like if it's not a rush to go see it, people might be like, okay, let's go see it in a month, or let's go see it next week. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So the opening box office numbers might not blow you away, but this is relying more on longevity as a marathon instead of a sprint.
Very true. Very well said too.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? Inside Out 2 is going to be in theaters for 100 days. Are you going to go see it 100 times every day of the summer? Or are you going to be like one and done? We'll wait for it to come on Disney Plus regardless. Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions about that, guys. And with that down and out of the way, let's jump back in to your comments and questions. You guys have been typing in like crazy during these segments, so I appreciate that very much. We left off with Toxic Gamer 331 up here saying, playing some Fortnite while watching you guys at the same time. Always an honor and a pleasure to be part
Nice.
of your multitasking, my friend.
Nice.
Toxic Gamer says, I haven't seen Acolyte yet either. I might watch it, might not. Yeah, I mean, you got our endorsements.
I
So
recommend it.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not at the recommend yet.
But see, with Acolyte though, it's like 2 episodes are like good enough that way. If you decide to drop off, you're not really losing anything. You're just gonna be okay. I
True.
didn't waste a lot of time. And it's the same thing. You know what that reminds me of? WandaVision. Remember when WandaVision first dropped? The first 2 episodes were kind of slow, and
But
they
I
kind of
loved it
dropped.
though because I love old time TV.
I
So
did
that
too.
I loved what they were doing with that.
Exactly. I did too, and it was the first Disney Plus show. But I do remember one of my good friends, Josh Stallworth, made one of the first points I remember where he was like, I'm like, if this doesn't pick up next week, I'm done. But then episode 3, at the end of it, where we had the tie-in to Ultron, was like, oh, he was killed by Ultron. And since then, people were hooked. But the first 2
Right.
episodes were kind of slow for most people. And it's a good thing that they dropped them at the same time. So maybe episode 3, expect episode 3 to maybe hook you, Zach.
I hope so. I hope so. Disney Plus is like Obi-Wan did the 2-episode premiere, which
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I loved the first episode of Obi-Wan. I thought the first episode of Obi-Wan was like I thought it was going to be the best Star Wars show ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything I wanted it to do. It dove into the character's trauma with Anakin having the nightmares, hiding in Tatooine. It did everything I wanted to see, and then they brought little Leia in and never let her go throughout the rest of the show. So that's where I got disappointed. But
But I enjoyed seeing Christian Haydenson back as Anakin. Like,
yes,
and then that like they did him justice. I want a separate show with him because obviously he's
yes,
hated throughout Star Wars community, but I want another show with just him and stuff like that. And the parallels on how it paralleled Rebels with the, any spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen Obi-Wan, when they were fighting in the broken mask, and you can see it going back from Anakin's voice to Vader's voice,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan." I was that scene gives you so much chills, and it
Yeah.
goes to show you that Hayden Christensen, with good dialogue, not just talking about how much he
And
hates
direction.
sand, and
Good direction
direction,
as well.
and not just talking about how much he hates sand, can actually pull off a great work of art.
I defend that scene, but yes,
I do too.
I
Name me an
agree with
actor
that.
that can actually pull that scene off.
Well, it's not even like the dialogue necessarily is the problem. Well, I mean, the dialogue is kind of the problem, but like it's what he's saying behind the dialogue of
The
like how
context of it.
Padme's Padme's comparing like, oh, the sand reminds me of the beautiful days on the beach in Naboo, and then Anakin's experience was on Tatooine as a slave. So yeah, he doesn't like sand reminds him of a terrible time. So that's what they're trying to communicate, but it didn't come across that way because everyone just grabbed onto that I don't like sand line. Oh, sorry, I think I missed one. Toxic Gamer says Hitman is on Netflix. John Chandler said it was a blast. Awesome. I trust
Nice.
John Chandler. I don't always agree with him, but I really like his stuff. So I'll check it out for sure. Trev's Movie says, do you guys agree? Are you more likely to remember a movie you saw in theaters or one on streaming? Easily in theaters.
In theaters.
Yeah,
In theaters.
because in theaters is the experience. I remember going. I remember where I sat. Streaming's just like I hit play on something at one point. I don't really remember when.
Too many distractions at home streaming. Theater,
True.
you're going there to watch a movie. Unless you're going to Cinema Cafe. I don't know if you have that here in Canada. Cinema Cafe is the one where you can eat there and tickets are really cheap. Hate going to that theater. Too many distractions. But
nope.
Movies you lock in. I'll never forget the feeling I had. And it's not just that. Movies, when you hear the atmosphere, like when Captain America left Mjolnir, the excitement in the theater. When No Way Home, when you first saw Andrew, everybody's going crazy. I recorded the reaction. You don't get that streaming. You really don't.
True.
And that's what I'm saying. Go to the movie theaters, guys, because if you get a good audience, it makes it so much better.
And even like those are like the big examples of the blockbusters, but like even like I remember where I sat and when I went and saw Gemini Man. That Will Smith movie that kind of came and went. No one really talks about it. If that had come out on streaming, I doubt I would have remembered it. But I remember it in the theater.
Yeah.
And that was 2019, I think.
Yeah, theaters just give a better experience. The bigger screen, the
surround
roaring sounds, yep, everything. Like it's an experience. And me personally, I love going to the movies.
Ryan Lane says I got an Avengers Endgame popcorn bucket back in 2019. Did you end up picking that one up?
I have that too. Yeah, it's
nice.
It's somewhere around here. That one wasn't very extravagant. Like I said, I talked about that on the members talk. They just kind of just put the Avengers pictures on it, and it was just like, here's a popcorn bucket. Like they didn't do any theme. The only Marvel MCU, I should say, doesn't really theme theirs. Like I said, Thor: Love and Thunder, they did. They had the Thor Mjolnir hammer, which I didn't get to pick up because they sold out on that one. But this Deadpool one's obviously the one that everybody's gonna be raving about.
That would have been pretty cool. Blue Hawk, thank you for joining us. Blue Hawk says, God bless you, Zach, and my brother Ace. Keep up the great work you're doing. Awesome. He wants to come from your channel.
Yeah, appreciate that, Blue Hawk. Yeah, a couple of my people from recognizing here from the live streams. I appreciate you guys and thank you for supporting both channels. You guys are the best.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming over here and hanging out with us. Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane says, if you're looking for a recommendation and have 3.5 hours to burn, Da Boot, the director's cut, is a good watch. All right.
3.5 hours is a long time.
That's a long time.
I thought Endgame was long.
Zach Attack could watch Return of the King in that amount of time. Well, the theatrical version, I guess. Travis Movie says, I got the ghost trap from Ghostbusters from Regal. Technically, it's a popcorn bucket, but I use it as a change bucket thing. Basically, a piggy bank. Nice, man. I mean, I bet that looks awesome. Yeah. Did you get that one too?
No, I didn't get that. They didn't have that one. I didn't get that one. They usually have good ideas. The only one I didn't like was the Fast 10 one, which was just like a car bucket. But you can get them, collect them, and just use it for a whole bunch of different things. They have multi uses, not just eating popcorn.
Nice. Travis Movie says, I'm looking forward to Venom 3, but I'm honestly more hyped for Terrifier 3. It's a Christmas movie this time. Oh yes, it is.
Sounds like a Christmas horror movie.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be jolly. It's not
Oh,
going to be jolly old St. Nicholas. Um, Blue Hawk saying, Zach, what does number 88 denote on your screenshot for the video? That we're on. This is show number 88. This is Zach Milne Talks Live number 88. This is our 88th show. I mean, live stream wise, because some of the episodes I didn't name Zach Milne Talks Live. We've crossed 100, like live stream wise, but like, yeah, we're approaching that 100 mark. We're on number 88. So
you're
that's
kicking
what
these
that
things
means.
out. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do for the 100th? You gonna make it a big deal?
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. There's a lot of development in my personal life happening though right now that might put a little bit of a hiatus on the shows in the next couple months.
It
So
happens.
it might push the 100th episode a little bit further, because right now we're on track to hit 100 in like September, October-ish. It might end up happening in like November, December-ish.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, you gotta
hoping
do
it's
what you
not
gotta
going to
do.
be that long, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, as far as ideas, I'm brainstorming. I got some ideas.
Nice.
Zack Attack Reviews says, for some reason, don't want to rush to see the Acolyte. Well, fair enough, man. I mean, honestly, if you want to wait for the whole show to
Finale.
come out, might not be the worst idea. But thank you, Zach, for being here, beloved channel member and
Where
friend. Always great
where
to
do
see
you
you in here.
where do you stand on stuff like that? Do you want weekly releases or do you want them all just dropped at the same time?
Honestly, I like both. I think weekly releases keep the anticipation more. Like going back to the example that you used, WandaVision. Like I loved that show mostly because week to week it gave the speculation and the fan communications and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed that aspect of WandaVision, as well as like waiting for the next episode.
Yep.
But I loved binging Stranger Things season 4. Like when Stranger Things season 4 I mean, they kept the last 2 episodes, I think. They waited a little bit to drop that one, but they dropped pretty much the whole season. And I love binging. Like binging can be so enjoyable, and sometimes I love the satisfaction of just having it right there right now. But yeah, if a show takes a little while to get going, week to week for me kills it.
Yeah.
And binging is easier. What do you think about that?
Pros and cons to both. I fully agree with your WandaVision take. The fact of the theories actually not only built suspense, but actually launched a lot of content creators channels with those. Like a lot of content creators got buzz over it. But then, as speaking from a content creator, it's hard to make content for the week to week. It really is, because you don't know how you want to cover it. And this episode might have been that good. How am I going to make a 2 to 3 minute video to captivate people without it, without losing people? But binging, I mean, with me, like when Cobra Kai drops, even when it drops on midnight, I'm watching them all, no problem, and just going through it. And that's what's kind of disappointing me about the last season of Cobra Kai, 15 episodes, splitting 5, 5, and 5. I'm just like, man.
Right.
But I'm all for it. If you allow me to binge it, I'll binge it. But if you're gonna do week to week, you have to build that anticipation. Like with the first show that I ever watched with the week to week where I was like on edge was actually Arrow. Arrow, when they left you, have you ever seen that?
I've seen a couple episodes, but never watched the full thing.
Arrow leaves you on cliffhangers almost every episode, so it kind of keeps anticipation going. So I could see there's pros and cons to both. But if I had my choice, I'd probably want to binge.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something too with week to week is sometimes like on TV, like cable and satellite and all that kind of stuff. They had that cliffhanger like every episode to keep you coming back. Sometimes with streaming shows, I feel they don't do the cliffhangers very well, or they don't even do cliffhangers at all. Sometimes the episode's just over, and
Sometimes
then
they
you're
do.
just waiting for the next one. So yeah, it's definitely pros and cons. Zack Attack says, I love the Minions. I guess I'm old. Hey, you said it, man, not me. 80s kid from the 90s. My uncle loves the Minions. A lot of people do. A lot of people love the Minions. Dox Gamer says, did you ever see Garfield? No, I did not. I'll watch it when it hits streaming, maybe, but I actually heard some people that I know and trust say that it was actually pretty decent. That some people actually really liked it, which is great. I just, from the trailers, I could already tell, man, I don't really want to spend money on this one. Not for me.
That's a streaming type movie.
Yeah, if that. D Rod, thank you for joining us. D Rod says, good evening, gents. Good evening, D. Toxic Gamer says, hi, Zach Attack. Hi, Toxic Gamer. Love seeing you guys communicate in the chat. Always a pleasure. Toxic Gamer says, congrats to Zach on 1,000 subscribers. Yes, Zach Attack
Oh,
hitting that
congratulations.
1K. Congratulations, my friend. That was a huge day for you, and I was very proud. Zach Attack says, Mia Culpa is worse than Madam Web. I don't even know what that is. Have you seen that?
Hard to believe. No, I haven't. But it's hard to believe. Like, that's going to be the measuring stick. Is it Endgame or is it Madam Web? Like, that's going to be the measuring stick from now on. 1 to 10. So.
Oh, yeah. Toxic Gamer says all 3 of Zach's in the WWE 2K24 Money in the Bank match live next Wednesday. This is his WWE game that he puts our avatars into, which is very, very cool. And that's awesome, man. Looking forward to seeing that. Toxic Gamer says, with the Hulk, Bane, Professor Pig, and 2 brains. All right. Well, we're going to get killed by those guys, but that sounds fun. Michael Anthony says, Ace has a better beard than Kratos from God of War. My best compliment I can give to you, my friend. You are the man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
That's awesome. Notice how he didn't comment on my beard. I guess I know where he stands.
You should keep it going. I've seen the pictures of you clean shaven. I'm like, yo, the beard, you can pull it off, man. Grow it out.
Yeah, it's laziness, dude. It's laziness. I don't know what it is. I hate shaving. It just like the time it takes. I don't like no. If I don't shave, the better. But then I get itchy with the beard, and then I have to shave. Is what happens.
That happened to me at first too, until I just went all in and started using like beard club and stuff like that, and then it actually started coming around. But we're supposed to be in like the day and age of the Jetsons, where you just pop your head in the machine and it's 1, 2, 3. But we're not there yet.
Or you can use Manscaped. Not a sponsor, but hey, you could be. Just saying, Manscaped. That was my little audition for Manscaped. Toxic31 says, what do you guys predict Beyond the Spider-Verse? When did you guys predict Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Have it already. It was supposed to be out already. And I don't know if he asked that because of my background, but if he saw that. But I absolutely love this background with Gwen and Miles. Great. This is actually very like pleasing and very like calming and stuff like that. But I don't know. Probably next year is when it's set to come out. I don't know. But regardless, when it comes out, it's gonna be too late. It's like not too late, but it's too late for us because I just want that movie so bad.
Absolutely, I would agree. I think next year.
Yeah,
I would be honestly surprised if it was 2026.
It takes a long time to see those movies, and the strike didn't help. Obviously.
That's true.
And I think that they had high expectations to get the first movie out, unless they did like an Infinity War Endgame and they were working on them both at the same time. There was no way realistically they were going to be able to get it out. It was supposed to come out a month ago, but there was no way they're going to be able to get out with the animation as top tier as the animation is. So it's impossible. You would have been overworking the VX department. They're already overworked.
Yeah, for sure. Which I do not support that. Like,
no.
Overworking the VFX artists, absolutely not. But it did get us a pretty damn good movie.
But why not hire more? You would think that it would create more job opportunities, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah. No, it's not right. It's not right. Aaron Jacobs, what's going on? Aaron, thanks for joining us. Saying Ace is the man. Yeah, he is. I appreciate you being here. I really do. D-Rod says the Fall Guy was well written for a typical summer wham bam movie, good humor and banter. Yeah, Fall Guy was fun. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to stream because I'm busy with the Yankee season, but it's definitely on the list. But it's getting good reviews, so I mean, it's getting a lot of content creators like it. So
I think you'll enjoy it. Toxic 321 says, "What do you guys think is the next big flop of the year?" Craven.
Man.
I don't know what they're smoking over at Sony. Hey, we put it in December. People are gonna come back and back and back again because it's Christmas. And who doesn't want to watch an R-rated Craven movie on Christmas? The families will love it. It's like, what are you doing over there, Sony? What is happening? I don't have any faith in that movie. I think it's gonna flop big time.
Which is sad because I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I really do. Like, I think he was good in Kick-Ass. I liked him as Quicksilver. I wish they would have kept him around a little bit longer, but that movie's just set up to fail. It's just another Spider-Man adjacent. Maybe, I don't know, maybe at the end, this next Venom movie, they decide just to kill the whole universe. Like, okay, maybe The Last Dance is the last Sony movie, and then that's it. Just pull it off the shelf.
if they're gonna put out Madam Web, they're gonna put out anything, man. They have no shame over there.
Nope. All they
Which
see
in
is
some
money.
ways I admire that, but in other
Hmm.
ways it's like put some effort into your stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I if I had to put money on it, it's Craven. I cannot see a world where that makes money, especially like I don't know. I don't work in the industry. Maybe they're right, but moving it to December, I don't think it has anything to do with. Oh, we think people. I think it's crap. I think they're trying to bury it.
Hmm.
I really do. But
The only movie I hope that doesn't flop is Deadpool and Wolverine. That's the only movie I hope that doesn't flop.
no way
And
that flops.
Madam Web made 100 million. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not good. Craven might make less because at least Madam Web had Sydney Sweeney, who was on the rise,
Right.
Dakota Johnson, who is kind of known, stuff like that. And it's just like I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson is a draw like that. I'd be surprised if this might make less. It might be a little bit better, but it might make less.
I won't be shocked if it makes less. Honestly, and 100 million for Madam Web, I think that's appropriate. That might even
I
be a little bit too
I,
much
I
money.
think people overspent.
Yes, I think they overspent too.
So, but it got to number one on Netflix. It was number one for a while. I don't know if that was Netflix pushing it out or everybody was just like, okay, let's see what all the hype was about or hype wasn't about. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
had to be. I wish that like YouTube analytics, how
Analytics.
they have the watch time and where people
Yeah.
drop off. I wish you could see that for
Oh, that'd be
Netflix.
so dope
I
to
wish
just
that we could
release
see that for Netflix
5 minutes
movies.
in. Everybody's like out of there.
It's out of here.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
D Rod says the biggest disappointment for him was Civil War. Good concept, but terrible execution. I was disappointed by Civil War.
Hmm. I did not see that.
No,
No.
it's not bad. I just was disappointed by it for sure. But there's also like I'm in Canada, so
Mhm.
I think that you can't discredit that. And also there's a lot of people that I know in the States, and not even just in the States, but other places of the world where they were really affected by the movie.
Mhm.
So art moves people different ways. It's all
Oh,
subjective. So I would never take that away from anyone's experience, like the way that this movie made them feel. If it really affected them like that and they had a great time, or made them think, like that's great. And I'm
yeah.
glad the movie exists for that. But for me, wasn't really for me.
Yeah. Art often imitates life. So, yep.
Let's hope not.
Mm. Well, I haven't
No,
seen it,
no.
so I can't speak on it. So, yeah.
Oh, for this one, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Trev's movie says I liked Elemental fine enough. My biggest problem is that the world building makes no sense. It makes about as much sense as the Cars universe. Yeah, I could see that.
It was
Uh,
it was very deep. The movie was very deep into like segregation factors, the immigration factors as well. I
yeah.
mean, so you can kind of see it, like I said, real world stuff, life or imitates life. That's pretty much what it was. How the different, I was gonna say nations, like I'm thinking of Avatar, Last Airbender, the different, the different like ways of life, how they come together and stuff like that. The world building I thought was fine. I thought it was the animation was top tier. I thought it was really, really good, especially like when you're watching Wade, how you can see through Wade and Ember, and you can see through them,
That
and
was
you can still
cool.
see the background. And it was a good, it was Pixar's first rom com, and it was very, very well done. I thought it was a very good movie. I enjoyed it. It's actually probably one of my favorite Pixar movies, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as you did. I think I agree
Mhm.
with Trev. It was fine enough. I thought the immigrant themes were more powerful and worked more for me than the romantic comedy that they
Mhm.
tried to do. I never really got into the Wade and Amber romance that they were trying to do. It never really worked for me the way I think they wanted it to for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they went that way because there was a direction they were going to go with. They were going to add a love triangle story. They decided
Oh
not to go that route.
gosh, thank
So
goodness.
Wade was going to be competing with another fire guy, and for the love of Ember. So glad they didn't do
Yikes.
that. And if they decide to come out with a second one, apparently, they're going to have a little smoke baby. So fire and water
Oh,
make smoke. So
oh goodness. That's actually kind of funny though. 80 Skip from 90 says, "Who would you cast as Hal Jordan?" I would go with Ryan Gosling. I don't know. Do you have anyone off the top of your head?
I would have no one off the top of my head. Ryan Gosling, that's just eye candy to me. Like I don't think he's.
Yeah,
Now I gotta look up
he's
who
the
would make a
hot
good.
thing right now. But Glenn Powell
Mm-hmm.
has a similar Ryan Gosling type vibe to him.
Oh yeah, he's kind of on the rise right now too.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. No one really comes to mind immediately. So
All right, fair enough. 80s Kid says thoughts on Deadpool being the new cameo guy from Marvel films. I'm not. I don't think so.
I don't think so
I
either.
I don't think you do a new cameo guy. I don't think you need a new Stan Lee.
No.
And the thing with Deadpool, like the thing with Stan Lee is he could kind of blend into any environment. If
Hmm.
if you're throwing Deadpool into like let's say they did another movie similar to Winter Soldier. Deadpool does not fit the tone of a Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work. I don't think you
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah. Stanley was just like it's fun to tie in all those cameos from Stan Lee because they were just so great. Deadpool stands out too
Yeah.
much, and it would be too much of a talking point, and then it would start getting expensive with how much
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds would start asking for. But I looked up fan casting to backtrack real quick on Green Lantern on Hal Jordan. Jensen Ackles, I'd be for that. You know who that is?
I
He
do.
was in The Boys. He was in the last season of The
Right.
Boys. I'd be
I
for
see the
that. I could
face.
see
Yeah.
him. I could see him as Hal Jordan, but we're gonna be a ways away from that. So
Larry the loser. Well, oh, Larry, don't say that about yourself. Thank you for being here, Larry. What are you guys' thoughts on Giancarlo Esposito in the MCU? I think it's a great casting. I think he's a talent. Anytime you can add talent is great. I personally, I mean, we saw some
picks.
behind the scenes photos for
Hmm.
Captain America that he's in. It looks like they're gonna make him a villain type character. I think it'd be great if they went against the typecast and made him like a hero or some kind
Who,
of person like that.
who do you think? Because I have a good one that I think he should be. But who do you think?
Who do I think he should be?
Yeah, and
Well, the
just
easy one for me to
mhm.
go is Magneto,
Okay.
but that's like
Yeah,
because of his typecasting.
of course, because the villain role.
Yeah.
The role that I would love to see him in is Whistler and tie it into
Mm,
Blade. Imagine because he's old enough. You know what I'm saying? You make it a Whistler, and you because they're talking about giving it a series as well. Tie it into Blade because we've been waiting on Blade for so long. But Mahershala Ali, who
right.
just got tied on to who's rumored to be in the next Jurassic Parks or whatever. At what point does he get frustrated with this movie keep getting pushed back and say I'm done?
True.
So make that happen already. I think Giancarlo Esposito would make a great Whistler, and then with Mahershala Ali, and then you got yourself Blade.
I mean, they got to do something with. They got to get that movie. I mean, they say they have the story locked down, but they just went back and got another writer, and they just went back for more rewrites. So they gotta get moving on that movie for sure.
Yeah, I would hate for them to have to waste him because he's a good actor.
Zack Attack says most people like fun movies that take a little time to figure out and can make them laugh. True.
Hmm.
True. D Rod says, any thoughts on the latest installment of Mad Max Saga? Fury Road was epic. I mean, Furiosa was good. I didn't think it was as good as Fury Road. Did you see that one, Furiosa?
I did not. Mm-mm.
Man, dude, I so first of all, that review is doing really well for me, and
Oh, I saw that. Good job.
Warner Brothers won't release their copyright, so I'm making nothing off of it, which is fine.
Ooh.
I had
Hmm.
fun making the video and all that kind of stuff, but I put on the thumbnail made for streaming with the question mark.
Hmm.
I kind of knew what I was doing with that for sure. But it was more so the way the movie's structured, it kind of felt like they took a streaming show and then put all the episodes together and then put it into a movie because I do feel the movie's length. It does feel quite long and the chapters, even though chapters aren't new in movies, obviously, but the way that the chapters kind of play out, they feel episodic.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't think that the visual effects were that up to par on the big screen with some of them. So I kind of brought that up in my review as like maybe this was originally constructed as a streaming show or not a streaming show, but constructed in a way that they knew it was going on HBO Max. So they're like, make the movie so that when people watch it on HBO Max, it feels like you're binging a show. Because
Yeah.
it does feel like you're binging a really good miniseries.
Hmm.
People are scorching me in the comment section. How dare you say this was made for streaming? This is in the effing theaters. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. No, not made for streaming. First of all, 2K views, impressive. Very,
oh,
very
yeah.
impressive.
Well, thanks everyone who clicked on it. It did much better than I thought it was going to do.
Oh yeah, someone saying made for streaming, effing insane. At that point, you just don't comment. Don't comment back.
I
It's
know,
just
right?
like,
Oh, I
it's
always
because
comment back. It's always
people are
fun.
gonna have their opinions, and it's just like, okay. I mean, it's just my
Yeah.
opinion, guys. Like, it's not that
But
big
at
of a
the
deal.
end, when I give my recommendation, I say this is a solid recommend, especially in the theaters. I say that. I say go see this in the theaters.
People don't care. They hear
Yeah.
what they want to hear. So
It's
yeah.
funny. I enjoyed Furiosa. Not as much as I wanted to, but it had moments that I really liked.
Is that your biggest view on your channel?
For a movie review, yeah, 2000 for a movie review. I usually do, my movie reviews they do a couple hundred usually, which is like phenomenal for me.
Nice.
I think my highest grossing one up until that point, well, if you want to count the Free Willy review I did when I first started, it's terrible. It had like 1.9 thousand. I think after that was Godzilla minus one had 1.6.
Okay.
And that was the most I'd had at the time. But
Nice.
yeah, 2000 for I did something right. I'm gonna have to analyze that video and thumbnail, and I'm gonna have to see if I can get that replicated because I did something right with that video.
Nice.
Toski with 1 says, who is an actor in your guys' opinions that's a great actor but is always put in crap movies or done wrong in movies? My pick, Joel Kinnaman. I think that Nicholas Hoult has had a bad run in some of his movies. He's in Fury Road. I don't know if people remember that, but Nicholas Hoult is in Fury Road. But he's one of those actors that he should be a bigger name than he is. And I also think James Marsden has had a little bit of he should be bigger.
Because they don't know how to do Cyclops. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like, they didn't know how to do Cyclops at all. So I could agree with those two. Those are two guys that are up there. So yeah.
And just a side note, James Marsden is hilarious in Jury Duty. Oh man, I loved that show. That was so funny. All right, we'll take a couple more and then we'll jump back to the topics we have. We got Trev's movie saying, if either of you two are fans of Nostalgia Critic or used to be, thoughts on Doug Walker showing up in Smiling Friends. I don't know what Smiling Friends is. I didn't know he showed up in it, but I like Nostalgia Critic, not as much as I used to like him, but I'll check in every now and again. So that's interesting. I'll have to see what movie that is. Were you a fan of Nostalgia Critic at all? Do you know who that is?
Not too familiar with that. Nope.
Yeah, fair enough. Toxic with 51 says Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is the worst movie of the year. For me, not a single positive thing to say about it. Yeah, they did a backdoor pilot to the show as a TV movie on Paramount Plus for Megamind.
That sounds like a disaster.
Didn't hear it was good. Trez movie says, I've only watched the first Twilight movie, but I watched it with the Riff Tracks commentary. Riff Tracks why don't I know what that is? Do you know what that is?
No idea.
I'm
putting two and two together. So you're watching it while someone's talking. So you're not really watching the
movie.
You're kind of
is it a YouTube? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Kind of listening to So
Toski says, what are some bad movies in your opinion that have one amazing sequence? There was a movie this year that came out called Role Play with Kaylee Cuoco on, I want to say it was Amazon. Awful movie. But there was one scene where she drugs a guy that I thought was actually a really well done scene. But that was the only scene of the movie that I liked. The rest of the movie I thought was terrible.
Yeah, one that comes to mind, Dark Phoenix, the train fight sequence was pretty dope.
That's a good one.
The movie stunk, but the train fight sequences holds par with some of the best Fox fight scenes, and a lot of those movies are bad, but they do have good do have good parts. Like the Quicksilver parts are always breathtaking and definitely make the movie. But I would say one of those.
Yeah, and I mean it's all subjective again, but
yeah, of course.
Venom I think is a bad movie, but the motorcycle chase in the first Venom, I like that scene. Yeah, it was fun.
And that's what I'm saying. That movie kind of had not saying it had potential, but it was creative. I do remember the first time where he actually, in the first trailer where the symbiote goes over him and you hear, "We are Venom." I was like, okay, what I'm saying? This has potential. And then just watching it, I'm just like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah. like a turd in the wind. Michael 11591. Hey Zach, what's going on, Michael?
I get that. I haven't seen that movie too much, but I do get that reference. Yeah.
What's going on, Michael? Thanks for joining us. And with that, guys, we are going to take our last intermission from the comments and questions. You guys have honestly been killing this chat. I really appreciate all of you guys here and giving us fun things to talk about. We're gonna talk about our last two topics, starting with this one. So the Predator franchise is a franchise that has kind of had ups and downs, you could say. I love the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. Predator 2, not that big of a fan. Predators was all right. And then The Predator that Shane Black did back in 2000, I want to say 18, was just awful, was just terrible. And it killed the Predator franchise for quite some time. But then Prey came out and Prey taking it all the way back. I think it was like the 1700s. New location, new cast of characters, new lead. Put it on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, wasn't in theaters, but it did really well for Disney Plus and Hulu at the time. So it was no mystery that they were going to do more. And it wasn't too long ago that we found out that they were going to do more. We have this coming from the Hollywood Reporter saying, the new Predator movie is in the works with Dan Trachtenberg directing. Filmmaker Dan Trachtenberg and 20th Century Studios are going hunting again. Trachtenberg, who earned an Emmy nomination for his 2022 Predator movie, Prey, is returning to the sci-fi action horror franchise to make a new installment. Titled Badlands, which honestly I hope is just a working title. I feel like you need to have the Predator somewhere in that title.
Yeah.
Badlands is what it's going to be called, though. The new Predator feature is not a sequel to Prey, which was set in 1719 and centered on a young woman forced to fight for survival against the intergalactic hunters, but rather a brand new story. Plot details are being kept secret, but this one is said to be sometime in the future. Like Prey, however, it too will feature a female lead. And we now know who that female lead is because they have just casted Elle Fanning to star in the new Predator movie. Elle Fanning is going from the great to bad. The actor known for the great is in talks to star in Badlands, a new movie set in the Predator universe. The Badlands is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, the filmmaker who revamped the franchise, yada, yada, yada. They're doing another Predator movie, guys. They're doing another Predator movie, and we've got our lead with Elle Fanning. And look, I don't know about you guys, but Prey was such a delightful surprise when it came out. And I had faith in the movie. I mean, even back in, I think it was 2022 when it was coming out, it was in my most anticipated of the year. I thought it was going to be great. Lo and behold, I thought it turned out fantastic. And what I loved about Prey is that it was so removed from the other Predator movies. It was removed from Arnold's. It was its own thing, and it felt fresh and new. And it really did make me crave these more so anthology films of Predator than continuations and sequels. So the fact that they're now saying that they're going out here, they're doing a new one. Plot details are under wraps, but I did read somewhere the rumor is they're going to World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting the Predator in World War II, which to me sounds absolutely incredible. I mean, I want to see the Predator just spread across timelines, spread across time periods. My dream Predator movie would be Predator and the Samurai.
That's
Put
mine
them in,
too.
put
Mine
them in,
too.
yes, put them
Mine
in
too.
Japan. Get them with the Samurai. I think it would
Tokyo,
be
yep.
Tokyo. Yeah, I think it would be amazing. But this makes me really happy. I love that we're getting more Predator. Honestly, for me, I like that it's not a continuation of Prey because they did that animation thing at the end of the credits where more Predators came down and the people it kind of ended there with the people kind of freaking out that more Predators were here. You could pick this up with a Prey 2. You could have the whole group of people versus the Predators and have this big thing. But honestly, to me, putting a Predator, a singular Predator with new characters and new settings sounds way more enjoyable to me. And I'll pass on to you, Ace. What do you think of more Predator? What did you think of Prey and this casting of Elle Fanning? I'm not going to lie, I'm not too familiar with her work, but have you seen her in things? Do you like her as an actress, and do you think she's a good pick for this?
Haven't seen her. My first question was going to be any relation to Dakota, but obviously looking at her, you can tell like they're
Yeah.
sisters. So,
Yeah.
but I'm always excited to see newer actors because what was that girl's name? Amber Midthunder.
Mid Thunder. Yeah.
She was, she was new. That was her first big one.
She was
So,
great.
yeah,
I loved
exactly.
her in
She was
Prey.
phenomenal. And then she ended up getting a role with Netflix under an Avatar: Last Airbender. You know what I'm saying? So it
Right.
opens up, opportunities for these actors. As far as Prey was very refreshing, a very refreshing take on the Predator series. I don't hold too much stock in the Predator movies. 'Cause I kind of take them for what they're worth. Like that movie Predators with the one where which it was the one where they were on on the world
Yeah, that's
and
Predators.
stuff like that. I thought it was okay. You know, what I'm saying
Adrian
for what it's worth.
Brody. Yep.
The one with
Topher
Lawrence
Grace.
Fishburne. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne and Topher Grace. I thought it was okay. It, you know, certain parts are rewatchable, but Prey is a fresh start to this series. And as far as tying into the other ones, you don't have to do anything super crazy. Just give us something subtle like what they did with Prey. Did you pick up on how
Mhm.
it tied up to the other Predator movies with the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, give us something so small like that that ties them all in. I don't know how you would do it, but that's it. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. But I like the first movie, Badlands. Like I said, I hope it's a working title as well because to me it reminds me too much of Into the Badlands, and then it reminds me of that's a series that never got a conclusion. So then it starts to make me mad. But yeah, it has to have Predators in the title. But like you said, my dream Predators movie would be like a Tokyo-based samurai sword to sword like movie, and give us that actor that's in that was in Mortal Kombat. What's his
Oh shoot, what
name?
was his name? I'm not.
I'm
It's
gonna
not
tell
coming to
you.
me.
You're gonna be like, oh man.
I know, right? It's gonna
Um.
be one of those things where it
Oh.
just smacks you in the brain.
Yeah. He. Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
not gonna come to my brain.
Okay. That. Yeah. Him. Like he's. You know. Give me him in that movie. But like I said, I'm all for this. It has momentum with Prey. Prey
Yep.
is actually a movie that I think I would have liked to see in theaters. To be honest
Me
with you,
too. It would
I
have been
think it would
great.
have went well in theaters. If they re-released it, I'd go because
Me
like
too.
Prey got the hype. You know what made Prey well? It got the fan perception. You know what I'm saying? People were talking about it. It was an event through streaming. Everybody
Yep.
was like, "You got to see this movie Prey on Hulu. It's such a good take because it focused on the core of this movie where it's just, you know, we're just going to focus on the Predator." And they got to ride that momentum. Don't try to bring in the big stars. Like we don't need to see like a Jason Statham or a Jason Momoa. We don't need to see any big star. Don't need to see Chris Hemsworth in this movie. Just keep it low key and
Yeah.
just give us that, and I think we'll be fine.
And keep that budget down. Because that was
Yeah.
something I loved about Prey 2 is they went straight back to the roots of Predator. It was like Predator in the jungle hunted someone down. That's all it is. And they kept that budget down by new stars, location, and one singular Predator. Like it was what the franchise needed at the time. And what I will say, or what I'll pass on to you as well, is do you think with Alien Romulus now was going to be on Disney Plus. They moved it through theatrical. Prey is beloved. Prey did really well on Hulu and Disney Plus. Do you think that this next one goes to theaters, or do you think this one also goes to Disney Plus? Because I think they would be fools not to put it in theaters if they brand it right with the Predator name, and they need it. They need to do more than just Badlands. But I think that this would do really, really well in the theaters. I think it would be a mistake not to do it in theaters. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on that?
I think it would do. I think it would translate well to the big screen because that's the biggest thing that I like to say about like a lot of my channel. Does it translate to the big screen? Does it have that big screen spectacle? I think possible, but I think ultimately they will drop it on streaming just like they did with Prey.
Yeah,
I think they're not going to risk it. They're going to be like, okay, Prey did well. Let's continue that. And if it starts building more traction and people start wanting these movies, because like the fan theories out there, as far as the sample, like we're not the only two people that have ever talked about it. It's all over there. Maybe they
yeah,
actually give the fans what they want and say, hey, since you guys wanted a samurai version, we'll put this one in theaters. And now you guys are getting what you want. So come out to the theater. But I do think this movie has potential to do well. They just have to ride that momentum. Like you said about the budget, I do think this will have a little bit of a bigger budget. If it's taking place in World War II, you're going to have a little bit more because you're not going
right.
to just have actors in the jungle. You're going to have artillery. You're going to have soldiers. You're going to have to be on set. You're going to have it look like certain ways and stuff like that. Make it look like a war.
Yeah,
So basically, but you know, the plot. Not a lot has been said, but I'm interested to see what it's going to be around because obviously in Prey and with the Predator lore, they're out there to become the top notch predators.
yeah.
So what are they gonna go after? Are they just gonna go after troops on the sidelines and stuff like that? We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, question goes to you guys. What do you guys think of a new Predator movie? Are you guys excited for it? Did you like Prey? Did Prey disappoint you? And do you think that it's going to go theatrical or Disney Plus? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions on that, guys. And with that out of the way, let's move on and talk about our final topic of the day, which happens to be what everyone loves to talk about nowadays. Deadpool and Wolverine. Anytime you can talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, you've got to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. If it's not someone's most anticipated movie of the year, they're at least probably looking forward to it if they're watching this type of channel. I cannot wait for Deadpool and Wolverine personally. And, there is that question in the air of like, is it going to live up to our expectations? Is it going to do well? It's the only Marvel movie that comes out this year. Deadpool in the MCU, bringing Hugh Jackman back. What are we going to get with this thing? And if the new rumors are true, we're going to get something that Marvel is very happy with, because the new rumor that is out there right now, this comes to us from Deadline, is saying that the Deadpool and Wolverine director, Sean Levy, is Marvel's top pick to bring in to Avengers 5. This comes to us from Deadline, not Deadpool. It comes to us from Deadline, saying, as Deadpool and Wolverine tracks huge ahead of its July 26th release and looms as a summer box office savior, we can reveal that director Sean Levy is the top choice and is having early conversations to direct another Marvel Studios pick, the next Avengers movie. Deadline hears that Levy has been given the latest script by Michael Waldron, though sources add that he has not given an answer on whether he will take the job, and the studio is still planning to meet with other directors while they wait on a decision from him. And that comes to us from Deadline. So, couple things come to mind when I hear this, when I hear Sean Levy coming in here, because we had not Peyton Reed. Who was the director that was gonna do Kane Dynasty originally? I can't remember what his name was, but yeah,
the last one that they were talking about was the dude that did Multiverse of Madness. Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember. No, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. There was rumors of Sam Raimi coming in.
Sam
I never
Raimi.
was really into the Sam Raimi rumors. I didn't think Sam Raimi would be the pick, but there was maybe it was Michael Waldron himself. I can't remember, but someone was gonna direct Avengers, and then they dropped off after everything with Kang happened. I don't think they're doing Kang Dynasty anymore. I really don't. I think they're doing a completely new thing. And I think Sean Levy coming in kind of indicates they're probably doing something a little bit new, a little bit different. Probably going to be tying in with the TVA, since we see some TVA in Deadpool and Wolverine. What this also kind of tells me is Marvel is satisfied, beyond satisfied, probably, with how Deadpool and Wolverine has turned out. If they are looking at what this guy did and they're bringing him on to do Avengers, I mean, that is a huge pay up. That's a huge upgrade from Deadpool to Avengers. So I will tell you, I bet you he worked with multiple people. I bet you there's plenty of characters in Deadpool and Wolverine that he was able to balance and play with. That's what this is kind of indicating to me, because it's the same with the Russo brothers. When Joe and Anthony Russo did Winter Soldier, they were then brought on to do Civil War, which was kind of like Avengers 2.5. They had a whole new set of characters to play with. They balanced them incredibly well. All of a sudden, they're on the next Avengers movie. I think the same thing's happening with Sean Levy. I think there's probably, with all the multiverse stuff going on in Deadpool and Wolverine, with all the cameos that we are suspecting they're going to use. There was also a new rumor the other day that came out saying that Avengers 5 is going to have like 60 plus characters in it, which if it's true,
budget.
That's a lot of budget. And if it's true, you're going to be pulling people from the multiverse. It's going to be happening. You're going to be seeing a lot of people from previous Marvel projects popping up in Avengers. And who better to get than a guy who, seemingly killed it in Deadpool and Wolverine, balanced the characters well. So this gives me a lot of faith in Sean Levy's direction for Deadpool and Wolverine. It gives me a lot of faith in Deadpool and Wolverine in general. And if Deadpool and Wolverine turns out as well as we think it's going to do, and it's fun, and people eat it up like we suspect they will, I'm all for this. I think Sean Levy could do a really, really good job with Avengers if, like the article says, he chooses to take the job. Ace, what do you think of this? What do you think of Sean Levy coming on, potentially doing the next Avengers movie? And do you think there's any indications of how Deadpool and Wolverine has turned out based on this potential hiring?
Yeah. I'm excited for this. If you look at Sean Levy's resume, he works well with Ryan Reynolds, free guy. So why not continue that? Real Steel is one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've seen that,
with Hugh
but
Jackman.
with Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
another guy he works well with. I didn't even think about that, but that's one of my favorite movies. Why him is funny. So I like his body of work. As far as like the example that you made with the Russo brothers, the Russo started with Winter Soldier. That was their first movie.
Yep.
They were responsible for arguably four of a lot of people's top fives. That's how they got their introduction. So it could be the same thing here with Sean Levy. You give him two guys that he's already worked well with, in Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and he can handle the multiverse, handle all these different characters, because the way the Russos were able to handle all the characters in Civil War, it didn't feel like one character was left out of the fold. Every character got their due. And I think of it as much like, because, I have my sports channel and stuff like that, my sports content. You need a leader of men to be able to really control these actors. There's a lot of egos out there with these
Yep.
actors. So you need a director that can hold on to that and say, I'm in charge, lead by example. And I think Sean Levy, if he's able to pull off Deadpool, obviously nothing is set in stone, but if Deadpool is a hit that a lot of us think it's going to be, we might be clamoring for Levy to be the next director of the Avengers movies, which, like you said, might be, maybe we get Secret War Part 1 and 2 now that they're going against Kang Dynasty. But we're going to see. It bodes well. I'm excited for it. And the fact that Marvel just has faith in him to do this should give him a lot of confidence that he could pull it off. So I'm excited for it. I am really, really excited for this.
Yeah, me too, man. And like I said, like you said too, they've seen the movie. They've seen the job he does. If the movie didn't turn out well, they wouldn't tell us personally. They wouldn't go out in a public statement saying, we didn't like Deadpool and Wolverine. We didn't like how it turned out. But if they didn't like how it turned out, they wouldn't be looking to hire this guy.
He wasn't getting another shot. If you failed at that, he wasn't getting another shot.
Yeah.
Especially with the resumes of other guys they were looking at. Like Raimi has a resume. Raimi's worked with on superhero movies before as well.
And he's very close with Kevin Feige. Like, they're really good friends.
So you would think that would be the easy one. So the fact that they're doing this and they're giving him the shot bodes that they have confidence in it. And then, like, he's got a little bit of experience with the superheroes with Free Guy, how they had that one scene with Captain America. Chris Evans was in it too.
Chris Evans, that's right. Yes.
So Chris Evans was in there too. So he's familiar with the Disney properties, is what I should say. So a lot of times it's more like, okay, we're familiar with this guy. We're comfortable with him. We love his body of work. Maybe he can pull it off. And of course, because of how well they think Deadpool is going to be, I'm all for it. If it's successful, give him a shot. I'm right there with you. But there have been a lot of this is the thing. Marvel has had great directors all throughout. Raimi, Ryan Coogler's one of my favorite ones, who directed both of the Black Panthers. Watts is good. Peyton Reed was also in the mix for that. He did the first Ant-Man's.
Yep.
Obviously Whedon as well. The Russos would be to be honest, if I'm gonna be honest, the Russos would be my first choice. It's just because they haven't made a movie that missed. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. None of those movies missed. So I would love for them to come back on, but if you're not going to go that, so to have all these different top-notch directors that they already trust, and they're going to push Sean Levy to the forefront, should give him the utmost confidence that he's the guy to get it done.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I didn't know it was possible, but it just makes me even more excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I didn't think that was possible, but hey, it sounds like it turned out great. What did you guys think of this? What do you guys think of Sean Levy potentially being the one who's going to come on and do the Avengers? Does that excite you? Do you have a different choice in mind? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions on that, guys. And with that out of the way, we are just going to take your live comments and questions. Ace, are you okay with that? Are you still up? Yep. I know that it's pretty late where you are.
Oh, I'm a nighttime person. I work till the morning time. I sleep. I'm like a vampire. I work at night and I sleep during the day.
Perfect. Well, they have been annihilating this chat, so we got some things to go through. So appreciate all you guys. Thank you everyone who's here. Michael 11591 says, haven't watched any Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. Well, hard to say you're missing anything, to be honest.
I recommend them. Like I said, a lot of people don't, but it's just because
which ones do you recommend?
All of them? I like Obi-Wan. Like I said, I like Obi-Wan. I thought that was good. Mandalorian, obviously 1 and 2. were really good. Book of Boba Fett got better when it became Mandalorian season 3 instead of Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But it's just because you got to see things that we haven't got to see before. Like, dude, what was it? The Disney Plus shows, that was the best that we've ever seen Luke, in my opinion. That's subjective, I know, but he kicked ass in
Yeah.
that scene, dude. Like that one scene with the what
At
were
the
they
end of
called?
Mandalorian season
At the end
2?
of Mandalorian season 2. I
Yeah.
thought he kicked absolute ass in that. And it reminded me a lot of Darth Vader from Rogue One. And things that
Yeah,
we were
good
getting to
point.
see. So I recommend them. Like they're not for everybody, but I enjoy them for what it's worth. Like I said, Acolytes, I hope does well. I hope it's one of those things that, picks up and so a lot of people can get onto, but I'm all for it and I recommend them.
I do think to their credit, I do think every Star Wars Disney Plus show has given me a moment I've been happy that the show existed for. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's many moments in Mandalorian that made me happy. Even Book of Boba Fett, like you were saying, it was kind of cool to see a younger Luke kind of training baby Groot, or not Groot,
Grogu.
baby Yoda. Baby Yoda, that would be a crazy
That
crossover.
that would be.
Baby Yoda, that was cool. I love seeing Hayden Christensen back in Ahsoka. I just liked Andor in general.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Hayden Christensen back in Obi-Wan. So yeah, there's moments that I'm happy there exist in all of them, but overall packages, I don't like all of them. Trez Movie says I've just given up on Star Wars and honestly just Disney Plus in general. I know X-Men 97 is apparently great, not just apparently, it is great, but I'm just not interested in anything on there. Look, I didn't even really watch the original series of X-Men growing up all that much. I've seen a couple episodes here and there, but I went into X-Men 97 very hesitant of will this even work for me, and I came out loving it. It totally works for the casual watcher as well. I highly recommend X-Men 97.
Yeah, it got my stamp of approval as well. Blown away. The stakes were there. The emotion was there. The animation sharper than I see what they were trying to go for. It was definitely a lot more sharper than the original.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, the emotions alone were there. For those that haven't seen that, I definitely recommend it. You can't tell me episode 5 didn't have you like, oh,
dude, man,
like, oh,
emotional.
remember
Even as someone who didn't watch the original series, like I got emotional at the end of that episode.
Yeah, of course. And then the biggest thing is, like I said, character focus. They gave light to certain characters that a lot of us, a lot of people didn't know on. Cyclops got his due, Rogue got her due, and then
Yep.
they chose to not just make it a Wolverine fest, which I'm okay with. You know what I'm saying? It was not all just about Wolverine.
Absolutely. It was more so about Cyclops and Jean, which was great.
Yep.
Ches Movie also says he loved the Chip and Dale movie. I thought it was fun. Honestly, I liked that movie. It was good.
It was okay.
Ches Movie says, has anyone watching this stream seen the movie Babes? I saw it this past weekend, and it's one of the funniest movies I've seen so far, but I guess that's not saying much. I haven't even heard of it. Zack Attack says he wants to see Babes. He's hearing great things about it. I haven't heard anything about it. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about it. Comedy with nobody big on there, but Oliver Platt is the biggest name on there, but they got the twins from Kenny Lucas and Keith Lucas. They were in, I forgot what movie they were in, but maybe we'll add it to the list, see what happens.
Trev says, does anyone else agree that the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy is the second best Star Wars trilogy?
That was
funny
creative.
enough. It is up there.
Yeah.
that is creative. Spoiler Kings, beloved channel members, thank you for joining us. Spoiler King says, what's up, Zach and Ace? Glad to see you in here. Nathan John Movie says, what do you think of the new prequel to 300 TV show in development? I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah.
No.
The first 300 was good. The second one, not so much.
I didn't bother watching it.
The first 300 was very, very watchable. Very, very rewatchable. Obviously, Snyder was in his bag with we could do as many slow motions as we want. Like that's his specialty. So yeah, the first one.
Very true. Very true. Ches Movie says, favorite quote from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Go.
With great
Are you talking about the guy saying go from Spider-Man 2?
Got you.
I think he is. My favorite quote from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy is probably, look at little Goblin Jr. You gonna cry?
You're gonna cry. That is a good one. Or when he was like cherry lips, like
yes, strawberry.
Or the like, that was it.
You'll get your rent when you fix the damn door.
Oh, that's so memeable. That is such a great meme.
That's gotta be the best.
Yeah. where's the rain? Or like, can you dig it when he's just dancing and stuff like that? Like,
Dig on this. Yeah, that's good too.
yeah,
Um,
the movie was so bad, it's terrible. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't done so, check out Zach's ranking of those movies. That was a
oh,
good
thank you,
watch as
man.
well. Um, I was not a fan of those movies. I really wasn't. It just had so many inaccuracies for me as a Spider-Man
Yeah.
fan. I'm just like, it's terrible.
Oh, you didn't like
Like,
any of the Raimi films?
no, Spider-Man 2,
Oh,
Spider-Man 2 is decent though. Spider-Man 2 was
okay.
decent. Had really good moments, obviously a lot of inspirational moments with the train, how that inspired a
Yeah.
lot of Spider-Man stuff. But the first one I thought was okay. Third one was terrible though. It was like, that's definitely, Topher Grace, whoever decided Topher Grace is Venom should never work in Hollywood again. Like, realistically.
Well, that was
He's
Sam
not Eddie
Raimi,
Brock.
so that was Sam Raimi,
He's
so
not Eddie Brock. Like, it doesn't go.
yeah, no, I'm more forgiving of that than most people, but I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye is
And
another
put some
good
dirt. I
one.
was just about to say that. Gonna put some dirt in your eye.
They're all Bully
Which
McGuire.
I'm mad. I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get that reference in No Way Home where Sandman was coming in here. But like, watch it, guys. You might put
Yeah.
some dirt in your eye.
I think they wanted to stay away from remind people of Spider-Man 3. I think they wanted to be like, remember the good ones. Like, I mean, they put Salmon in there, but still,
Yeah, but it gave
they
us some good moments though. What's it called? Defoe as Green Goblin.
amazing.
Amazing, and even better to me in No Way Home because we got that fight sequence between him and
Agreed.
Peter, top notch. The acting in there,
Yeah.
and it just goes to show you when you get good writers, you get good actors. You got to get good writers, guys. You really do. That's why I'm so pissed off at the Fox first. I'm gonna be doing a Fox ranking right leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's
Yeah.
just like so many good actors were wasted. Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy. Even Jennifer Lawrence, so many good actors wasted by
Yeah.
bad writing. Hugh Jackman, obviously. So
Dang. Nathan Van Ruby says, "What do you think of Captain America 4 getting more reshoots with a new
yeah,
villain added?" Look, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're trying to fix the movie, and I'd rather them try to fix it than just put out something mediocre or bad.
exactly.
But I can't say it's not concerning. I mean, I can't
Yeah,
say it's not something that I'm worried about.
I'm not gonna go there as far as why it's a little concerning because like it's a lot of. I just think it would. I don't think people are going to translate well to it. The same reason why with Miss Marvel, people didn't translate well to that. The diversity aspect turns a lot of people off. We were talking about that a little bit on your
Yeah.
on the members talk show. That turns people off to it. So I definitely think maybe that should be a Disney Plus show.
Well, they already did it. It was Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but then like keep it going because there are certain things like don't get me wrong, I love Civil War, but how much Civil War is in the comics, I still to this day think Civil War would have made a better Disney Plus show, like a better Disney Plus series, because there's
Mm.
so many things that you could have touched on. I think Captain America 4, I don't think it's going to do well in the theaters. I don't. So I do think it'll be a better Disney Plus show.
Well, look at the pressure too. I mean, Captain America is like one of the, if not the best trilogy in the MCU. I mean, first Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, they just got better and better and better
Guardians
in
of
some people's
Galaxy.
opinions. And Guardians of the Galaxy is up there too. Yeah, but I would put Civil War over Guardians 3, and I would also put Winter Soldier over Guardians 2, but I would put Guardians over First Avenger. But
Yeah.
for me, the Captain America trilogy is the best one.
Yeah. I'm not going to do my franchise ranking because I'm going to do it. That's on the
Yeah,
plan list.
absolutely, man. Don't give away the goods.
I'm gonna random review all the Avengers. When the baseball season's over, I plan on doing a big review of every single Marvel product.
Nice.
Like, it's gonna take a couple of days and just do it. And then one of the things I want to do is a Marvel franchise, like put the franchises against each other, like what we're talking about. Which franchise is better? The Guardians, the Avengers, the Captain America, the Iron Man stores, etc.
That'll be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that. Trez Movie says, did anyone else see Captain America 4 has already been the Happy Meal toy at McDonald's? I did not see that.
I did not know about that.
I mean, it was supposed to come out.
McDonald's.
It was supposed to come out. Was it last month? Was Captain America 4 no, maybe it was next year or in May it was supposed to come out. I don't remember now. It's been moved so many times.
I'm looking at it. McDonald's toys. They're showing old ones of like Steve Rogers. Nothing with Falcon. But I'm tired of the toys giving away stuff too. Because stop doing that with the toys. Like the biggest thing is obviously the Infinity War. They teased us that Hulk was gonna be busting out of the Hulk Buster suit. That never happened. Like stop giving us stuff with the toys. Like
so true. Spoiler King says I'm with Zach. I'm liking it so far, but not sold yet. I'm guessing
Okay.
that's Acolyte. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Nathan Van Movie says, are you going to watch the Bike Riders and Kinds of Kindness? I'm going to watch the Bike Riders. I don't know about Kinds of Kindness though.
Might have to add him to the list. Who was it? T was giving some kinds of kindness, some good reviews, some good praise. So maybe I had to check it out.
All right. Spoiler King says Screener said episode 3 is the one that got viewers hooked. Here's my issue with that though. We have heard that over and over and over again with all of these Disney Plus shows. And it never really comes true for me, or it's the peak and then everything else is downhill from there.
Yeah.
It's how I feel with the show. So I'm not going to put much stake into that, but we'll see. Collective Movie Man, beloved channel member, saying, I'm very excited. I just saw something being posted on Instagram that they announced that the House of the Dragon season 2 episodes are going to be 72 minutes long.
That's
Wow.
long. That's long.
That's really long.
Are
I
you
mean,
into that?
House of nope, never got into Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones either?
No.
Game of Thrones was good. Obviously, it's very, it's very graphic. It's the journey is good, the destination stunk. But House of the Dragon touches base on things that we had heard throughout the regular lore, and it's actually really, really good. Really good actors in it and stuff like that. So I am actually excited. I don't know if I'm going to cover on a channel because I'm still trying to figure out a way to cover the week-to-week type movies, the week-to-week type series and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm going to cover that one, but I will be watching.
Nice. Tox Gamer says, what's a movie that came out in the last 5 years that you thought got way too much hate and also way too much love? It's not the definitive one, but I thought that Passengers got way too much hate. With Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. I didn't mind that movie. I thought people I remember when that came out, they ripped on that movie. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then one that got too much love, I don't know. For me, Barbie is the easy answer to say. So I'm gonna go with Barbie.
I like that. I'm gonna disagree. I think Barbie was good. Way too much hate. Way too much love. That's a tough list because there's so many movies that come to mind.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of people praised Black Adam. I thought I was like the only one that didn't like it. I thought that movie sucked. I also think when it comes to me, I think certain movies aren't as bad as what people are saying or not as good as it. But it's hard. There's a lot of them that come to mind. It's hard to just pinpoint one. But I thought Barbie was really good. It made my top 5 last year.
Oh, nice. I thought Barbie was fine. I thought it was decent. I didn't think that it was. I mean, it was a cultural moment, for sure. So can't take that away from it. But it was very, very hyped up. By the time I saw it, it was hyped up. I missed it in theaters. I missed it in theaters because on my way to Barbie is when my car died. I was in my pink shirt. I was heading up there alone. I was going to Barbie, and my car broke down, so I had to wait for the tow truck on the side of the road in my pink shirt, my Barbie shirt, and get towed home.
So did you see Oppenheimer?
No, I missed both Barbie and Oppenheimer in theaters. I had to watch them at home, which was fine.
Did you do the double feature though? Like everybody was doing
at home
to experience it? Yeah.
Did I do? No, I watched Barbie at my family's house, and then I got Oppenheimer later. So I did not do the double feature. I missed the whole Barbenheimer experience, which I was bummed about. It's like, why did my car have to die that weekend? But if I don't have transportation to the theater, can't go to the theater. Not for everything, anyways. Nathan Van Movie says, are you going to see Horizon, that new Kevin Costner Western? I'm honestly probably not.
Same.
Yeah. Collective Movie Man says, I think it's because it's shorter episodes for the season. It's only 8-season show. Still, I mean, 72 minutes episode is makes up for an 8-episode season show. That's gonna feel a lot longer.
Unless they're doing a Disney Plus model, we're gonna have 20 minutes of credits.
Right. It's actually like it's actually gonna be
5
like
minutes.
50 minutes long.
Yeah, crazy.
Trev's Movie says, thoughts on the movie Poor Things. Me and my friend went to see it back at Christmas time, unaware that there was a crap ton of sex. Yeah, that's why I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Poor Things. Haven't seen it.
Never heard of it.
Fair enough. Collective Movie Man says, did not watch Acolyte. I'm either going to wait till next year when Daredevil comes out and watch it then, or I'm going to wait until we get 4K announcement. I don't know why you'd wait for Daredevil to pair it up with, but hey, man, that's awesome. If you want to wait.
Don't usually tie in, but go for it.
Don't expect any cameos if that's what you're hoping for. Nathan Dunn Movie says, "Do you think Bad Boys 4 will make a lot of money given the controversy surrounding Will Smith?"
I don't think so.
I don't think it's gonna really impact the movie one way or the other.
Don't think so. I think we're so far removed from that now
Yeah.
that people aren't really thinking about it. Like you were saying, we were on T's channel. Could we get a joke in there? I don't know. Possibly. Like, could we get a slap reference or something like that? I don't know. But I think we're so far from removed from that. And Will Smith's likable, so people understand his situation and stuff like that. And that was a terrible thing that he's going through and stuff like that. But yeah, but you know what I'm actually concerned with? I'm concerned with Martin Lawrence's health. I don't know if you've seen those videos lately.
Oh, where he was being like held
Helped out.
up by Will Smith onto
Oh,
the stage.
yeah, I'm concerned about that. Like, and then obviously stop. People stop being so toxic because you guys did the same thing. A lot of people did the same thing with Chadwick Boseman. People get sick, guys. You have to
Yeah.
realize that stop. It's not a joke. Not everything's funny because that Chadwick Boseman stuff really hurt me for real, for real.
Yeah, no, that was that was terrible. That was so sad. And like going with the like just to give Chadwick Boseman his flowers that he deserves. The fact that he he did Black Panther, he did Avengers
Absolutely.
Endgame, like he just he kept going and people didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like what a warrior he was. Like that's incredible.
Yep, he's my hero. Like for real, for real. Chadwick Boseman is one of my heroes because his story is he started at the age I started, like trying to do YouTube stuff like that, 35 years old. So it's like it's never too late to really live your dreams. And he was such a pioneer for an inspiration, especially for the Black community. He
Mhm.
refused to do any roles that didn't empower African Americans. I think he was offered a role to do like a slave movie, and he said, "I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I only want to do those type of roles like 42, the inspirational roles like that." And that's why I look
Right.
up to him like that. Like he's in such iconic Black characters for the Black community. And like I said, it broke my heart when that happened. And there's one scene where they show like behind the scenes where I forget who it was. Paul Bettany was like they were all interviewing together, and Chadwick Boseman was like barely staying awake, and Paul Bettany's just touching him.
Yeah, I saw
He's like,
that.
"You okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine." I'm just like, "Damn." Like he was going all through that for us, guys, for us.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I loved hearing that, man. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and yeah, always RIP Chadwick Boseman.
Yep,
Michael 11501 says, "Are you looking forward to Inside Out 2?" Yes, we are. We very much
absolutely.
are. Spoiler Kings, this is big for Disney. They need to make Pixar movies events again. This is a great first step. Next step is the movie needs to be good. Yes, absolutely. I agree with all of that.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Collect Movie Man says, "Is there anything like that for Deadpool 3 being in theaters for 90 days, or is it just Inside Out 2?" I haven't heard anything about Deadpool. If they're smart, they'd probably leave it in for longer than 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I think that's a movie that's going without a doubt going to be in theaters all summer. And even if it's one of those things where it's in one or two, it's going to be in the big theaters for a long time. It's going to be in
Mhm.
there throughout the course of the summer, especially because this is the only Marvel movie we're getting this year.
Right.
So, but the biggest thing is this one's getting released in China, so it's going to do some
That's
serious
huge.
numbers. It's going to do. That's why I'm telling you, you guys don't think it's going to get two. I think it can. I think it's going to get close. No Way Home. I know it wasn't rated R, but it wasn't released in China, and it still did
Yeah.
a lot of numbers.
But it's still, again, it was PG-13. It
Yeah, of
could
course.
get kids in there. It wasn't R-rated. And Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield was such a question mark if it was going to happen or not. I think
Was
that
it
was
though?
like
Did you doubt it at all?
I never really doubted it,
Mm-hmm.
but they gave enough, like there was enough Easter eggs and clues throughout interviews and all this kind of stuff that was like I'm pretty sure this is happening, but they denied it till the end.
Of
So it
course.
was like, okay, I
Yeah.
have to know. Like I have to know if this is actually happening.
It's
Uh
like they
I think I had a
tested
lot of
our
that going.
they tested our intelligence too. They're like, "Oh, we're all just hanging out together.
I
We're at a
know,
party.
right?
We're at a Hollywood party, but we're not shooting Spider-Man." Andrew
Yep.
Garfield's like, "I'm not the werewolf. I promise I'm not in there." Tom Holland spoiling stuff.
Legendary.
Tom Holland, that one scene where they showed in the trailer where he's reaching for MJ's hand. He's like, "Oh, that wasn't me." Like,
Yep.
bro, what are you
Yep.
doing, man? Like between him and Mark Ruffalo, I don't know who's the bigger spoiler. Might be Ruffalo because he actually did spoil a Ragnarok.
He filmed it on
Yeah,
Instagram
he
Live.
did.
Sometimes I just love going back to that video
Same.
and watching it and just
You know,
listening to it. It's
you
so
know which one I love going back to? The one with him and Don Cheadle, where he's like,
Yes,
everybody dies. Like,
everybody
dude.
dies.
And
And
that's why
he even like he's going to say half of everybody dies, and then he stops himself and just says everybody dies. He's like, half everybody dies.
exactly. And that's why it's like during all right, my ultimate joke, right? When we were messing with Ryan not too long ago about when he didn't see something right. My ultimate joke has always been the people that don't want to like, oh, spoilers. I'll be like, well, everybody dies at the end. After
Right.
Infinity War, I couldn't say that because everybody died at the end. So I'm like, that
Right.
sucked. Like, but it was such a good cliffhanger. Like, I wish I had a channel around that time because I would have had a lot to say. I remember leaving
Yeah.
Infinity War and was just so had so many emotions. I was like, this movie was so great, but that ending, boy, I'm like heartbroken. I can't. We gotta wait a year.
Yeah.
So
I would have been like 16 at the time, but I do wish I could go back in time and do some of like when Civil War was ramping up and Phase 3 was really kicking off. Like that was pretty popular time to be on YouTube.
and that's what theaters do for you. They give you those
Yep.
experiences and stuff like that. Like I'll never forget where I was when that Spider-Man trailer, with the Civil War Spider-Man trailer dropped.
Dude.
Like it was the week that
Band class.
DC, yeah, it was the week that DC was coming out with Batman vs Superman, and Marvel's like,
Yes.
we're just gonna casually drop Spider-Man, and in 2 words, hey everyone, we're gonna break the internet because this
Yep.
trailer was so good, you forgot that they were talking about he was in it. Then you hear under ruse. Hey everyone, I was like, yo, I know you were too because you're a huge Spider-Man fan as well.
Oh, yes. I went crazy. I watched that over and over and over and over again. Um, do you remember when Batman vs Superman and Civil War were supposed to open on the same day?
They would have got crushed. DC would have got crushed. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's peak Marvel. They wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
They moved quick. They
they did.
moved quick.
And but that whole thing with DC too, it's like they're just disappointing. They tried too hard to play catch up. You should have
Yeah.
just took your time, give origins. Who cares if you're copying Marvel, and just give you forced it. And then not to mention the Zack Snyder cut was way better than the other Justice
Oh,
League.
by leagues. Yeah.
Yep.
No pun intended.
Yep.
But yes, absolutely. Travis saying, remember Wish? I did not watch Wish. Did you ever see that one?
The problem with Wish was it was too focused on being like an entire recap of Disney properties. Like, here, this is what we are,
Ooh.
instead of actually telling a good story. They're like, hey,
Right.
we've been here for like it didn't focus on telling a good story. That was the problem with it.
Brutal. I haven't seen it. Travis Movie says, does anyone know how to get screeners or invited to press screenings?
I
No,
wish
but
I
if you
did.
find out, let us know.
Please let me know. They're out there though. You can get them, but it's just they're very
Yeah.
hard to come by. So
I'd probably have to travel like 4 hours to the nearest big city if I even could get that, because I doubt they would do anything in my town. Travis Movie says, I mean, you can take the kids to Maxine. Oh man, that's funny. I don't know about
no.
that. Nathan John Movie says, all right, guys, great stream, but I gotta head out now. Good night and enjoy Bad Boys 4. Well, thank you so much for being here, Nathan.
Appreciate
We
you.
enjoyed talking with you, and the show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend. And I appreciate you. You have a good night. Trez Movie says, what's the first double feature you guys did in theaters? I think mine was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Frozen 2. I think, if I remember correctly, the first ever double feature I did, it may not be the first one, but it's the one that I'm remembering, was Tag and then Incredibles 2.
I did the Marvel movie marathon.
Oh,
When the first Avengers came out,
dang.
they had well, I wouldn't say it's more than the double feature, obviously. When the first Avengers came out, they had Iron Man in order: Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, leading up to Avengers at midnight.
Nice. Oh,
So
man, the energy in there must have been insane.
yeah, that's when they had midnight releases. Everybody dressing up. It was crazy. And they didn't have reserved seats, so you had to make sure you first come, first serve.
Wow, crazy. The last double feature I did was Sonic 2 and The Batman. That was the last one I did. Spoiler Kings, if Inside Out 2 is good, it will make $1 billion. I think it very well could.
I think it can.
Just Movie says, I work at a movie theater. I'm screwed for Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. Dude, good luck to you. I hope people are nice, and I hope it goes well, because that's going to be a wild day at work.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be no days off for you. You're going to be working your butt off. Yep.
Talk to Gamer says, what's the Star Wars spinoff that you would like to see a movie similar to Rogue One and Solo? I've always been dying for a Vader solo, like peak Vader, explore the the true trauma of that character and Anakin and everything. Like, there's so much richness to that character. I think it would be great. I think it would be great if they did a Vader solo movie.
I want a Star Killer movie. A lot of people do as well. You familiar with that from the video games?
Star Killer? No.
The from the video games. What was the video games called? It wasn't the Force Unleashed video games. It was a two-parter.
Oh, I played
Yeah,
Force Unleashed.
yeah,
Yeah.
Star Killer, and then he was the one that had two lightsabers in the second one. The story of him being Vader's
Oh,
apprentice and
that was
then
that
becoming
character's name was Star Killer?
yep, Star Killer.
Oh,
Yep.
I never knew that.
He was the one that originally made the Rebel his family sigil was the Rebel logo. And so he was like the first person to really do that. He was Vader's apprentice, and then Vader made clones of him, and that's how what it was in the second
Oh,
game. I would love to see that brought to live action. That would be incredible.
that's crazy. Yeah, that would be awesome. Trez Movie says, don't joke about seeing Inside Out 200 times. Back in 2022, there was a lady who came to see the Elvis movie every day for 23 days at the theater I work at. Wow, that's crazy.
What's the most times you've gone to see one movie in theaters?
I don't do too many, honestly. I think probably I saw Endgame 3 times, 3 or 4.
That's
But
light.
yeah, it's very late. Usually I do like 2 and then
Yeah.
I'm maxed out.
Oh yeah, I go a lot. Like no
Yeah.
joke, like almost especially Endgame 3 hours. I went like almost a whole full work week. Definitely went over 10 times because my thing is I go
Nice.
by myself, I go with other people, and then I'm just like, okay, I got to go see this again. So I
Yeah.
already got 2 tickets for Deadpool Wolverine opening day. The Yankees are not playing, so I can just focus on that, do a review, and I'm gonna talk to you more about my plans that I have off camera, but I want
All
to
right.
incorporate you in some of that.
Ooh, sounds good, man. I'd be down. Tox Gamer says someone did that for Captain Marvel as well. Oh, they went 23 times. All right. That movie made a
I,
billion.
I
People
feel
saw it.
he probably helped out the budget. And I feel bad for that person that went that many times. That movie was terrible too.
Like the 22nd time, maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, exactly. That movie was terrible.
I didn't mind it. They could do a show based on Darth Vader comic books where it's between the original trilogy. I
That's
would
true.
love it. I would
Especially
love it if they did that.
especially the where he gets the kyber crystal for his red saber. That's a good arc right there. That is a
Yeah.
very good arc. I would love to see that as well.
I've
Uh,
read a couple of those Vader comics, and
mhm.
there's definitely some adaptation that would be fantastic from it.
Yeah.
Talks Game with You 31 says you saw Imaginary, Zach. What stuff did you like about it, and what stuff did you not like about it? Well, I didn't really like the execution. I didn't really like a lot of the characters. I thought that the scares were lame, and it was not very scary throughout the entire thing. Lots of false jump scares, and then the ending was like the coolest part of the movie, but they wasted it where they went into the realm and all that stuff. So, yeah, not for me. Didn't like it.
Better streaming movie.
Don't waste your time on it.
Don't wait nothing. Just don't
Like,
watch.
just don't watch it. Trez Movie says they should make popcorn buckets for random movies. Could you imagine having a night swim popcorn bucket? I mean,
Yeah.
if you could, you would, right?
I'm sure they could because they'll make money off of it. People will buy it. So
I don't know about night swim, but yeah, maybe. Travis says they actually had Madam Web popcorn buckets at Regal, and all it was the title, no design at all. They didn't try with this movie. Why try with the popcorn bucket? Remember when the Madam Web costume got leaked through the Coca-Cola or whatever it was
which one?
ads? I think it was Dakota Johnson's Madam Web costume. It was her on a pop can of some. I think it was
Oh no,
Coke. I can't remember.
I don't remember hearing that, but it doesn't surprise me. But
Yeah, it
as
leaked
far
on Twitter.
yeah, as far as what Trev's talking about, sounds like a crappy popcorn can for a crappy movie. That's what it sounds like. So
Very fitting.
yep.
The View with Drew saying, hey everyone, what's going on, Drew? Thanks for being here tonight, man. Question for everybody: what do you think is the best performance you've ever seen in a comic book movie? I think Hugh Jackman and Logan. That's a very good one.
That's a hard one to beat.
Robert
Yeah.
Downey is really good in Endgame, though.
Tom Holland, the emotion during the Aunt May death scene was very emotional.
That's true.
Like that's up there. It's
But
hard
is it
to
more
beat Logan.
emotional than what Andrew Garfield brought with the death of Gwen?
I thought no.
because
See,
that
No Way Home. See, okay. First of all, that movie speaks to me. That could be a whole nother topic. That movie, like, that's one of my favorites.
Amazing Spider-Man
And
2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, because I was
Nice.
going through something very similar what he was going through during that
Mm,
with Gwen, right? So that movie actually speaks to me. It's made better by No Way Home. It's made satisfying.
absolutely.
Like what gets me, okay, I actually have tattoo right here, right? That
Emma
says
Stone.
be no, yeah,
Oh,
right. No, not Emma Stone. It's the praying hands. But it says be greater than your suffering. That's her line. Her line is you have to be greater than what you suffer. So I got that
mm,
what inspired to this.
I
What
love that.
gets yeah, what appreciate that. What gets me in that movie with Andrew Garfield is like Gwen's speech. Whenever I'm feeling low or in a funk, I listen to the end of Gwen's speech, and then I listen to when that little kid runs out to the street, and all you hear is, "Hey, Spider-Man," because that always makes me feel like I can be Spider-Man again. So that movie speaks to me, and it's just made better by No Way Home. That sequence where he saves MJ, and he's like, "You okay?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you okay?" He's just like,
So good.
you see it in his face. But Logan,
Yep.
it's really hard, man, because they, especially with the foreshadowing in the Wolverine, where the samurai chick, I forget her name, was like, "You're gonna die with your heart in your hand," and he had his daughter in his hand as his heart. That's just so hard to top.
I mean, it's the overrated answer, but you can't forget Heath Ledger in The
No,
Dark Knight. I mean, that's just
absolutely.
iconic, right? And even Joaquin Phoenix in Joker is a really good one too. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's hard. I lean towards the Hugh Jackman one in Logan as well. But you know what? Also, you kind of overlooked Patrick Stewart in Logan
Yeah,
is incredible.
Logan, like it just, I didn't feel right after. I felt depressed after Logan. I'm like, man,
How could
like
you
I
not?
don't, because like it's like these characters we grew up with, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, they died. I'm just like, damn, man, like my heart was heavy for a while. But yeah, that's a good one. Heath Ledger's a good one just because of how iconic he was and made, obviously, rest in peace to him, especially because they didn't think he was gonna do good in that role, and he killed it. He
Hmm.
killed it.
Absolutely. Chaz Movie says the only problem I have with binging, especially when the episodes are ridiculously long, like Stranger Things 4, is that I have things to do. Fair enough, man. That's very fair. Chaz Movie says Mia Kupla is a Tyler Perry movie. Double Toasted reviewed it and it was really funny. Okay. Yeah, I'd never heard of it before.
Have to check
So
it out.
Toxic Gamer says, do you guys think there will be any movies this year that will be worse than Madam Web, Imaginary, and others? If so, what? Craven could
I,
possibly, but
I
it's
don't
hard to
think so.
imagine that it could
What
be.
was Imaginary worse than Madam Web to you?
It was shorter. um, I don't know. I think Madam Web on some comedic or like ironically comedic level is a little bit more entertaining with just how bad it is.
Hmm.
Whereas I thought Imaginary was frustrating.
Hmm.
So I think Imaginary was worse,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah. It's gonna be
So
tough. It's gonna be tough to find movies worse than those. Like at least the theatrical release movies, I should say. Like, cause
do
they
you
could be
watch
some worse.
the Cosmonaut Variety Hour or
Mm-mm.
just Cosmonaut?
Never heard of it.
He's a YouTuber. He's very
Hmm.
big. He's like got 2 million subscribers, but he does like video essay commentary type videos. He just put out a video for Madam Web.
Hmm.
Um and it is gold. I was cracking up throughout the entire, it's like 42 minutes long, and he just like deep dives into all the issues and problems and mistakes and filmmaking errors, and it's amazing. Like
Sounds like it was better
I
than the movie.
Oh, it was so much better than the movie. It was so good. He goes into this whole thing about Dakota Johnson and how it's great. It's great. I highly recommend it on Cosmonauts channel for I think it's titled Madam Web, the worst comic book movies ever made.
Hmm.
It was very funny. Trez Movie says no one believed me back in 2018 that Into the Spider-Verse was a masterpiece, but who's laughing now? I mean, you called it pretty early. I definitely wasn't saying that at the time, but
You, you know what's crazy? I actually didn't see Into the Spider Verse in theaters,
a lot of
which
people didn't.
yeah, which I kicked myself because like I was dating somebody at the time and her kid, like had a little bit of problems, but they
Mm,
promoted it as if it could induce epilepsy. So I was like, okay, I
that's
don't want to
right.
I don't want to risk this. You know what I'm saying? Because all the colors and all that stuff. So I was like, I'll just wait till it comes out. And then watching it, I was like, wow, Miles Morales, same ethnicity as me, black and Puerto Rican, Love that movie. One of my favorite superheroes, and just happened to be Spider-Man. I wish I would have seen it in theaters. If they come out with a triple feature for Beyond, I'll be in there seeing all of
Oh,
them.
they should. I think
Yep.
that would. I think that would do really well for them. I saw Into the Spider Verse in theaters. But I mostly went for my brother. I took my brother to it. I was interested in seeing it, but I wasn't like hyped for it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really really good.
Yep.
Trez Movie says Zach has no faith in Craven because he doesn't want to eat the tissue. Eat the
Oh
tissue.
yeah. What's the bet
Nope,
on that?
I don't think so. So the bet is I have a box of tissues here because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I need to blow my nose during this thing. The bet is that if I give Craven, and I won't lie, like if I feel this way about Craven, even with this bet, I will say it. If I give Craven a strong recommend, not a weak
Mm-hmm.
recommend, not a solid recommend, but a strong recommend, I will eat an entire tissue
You hear that,
at
Sony? Challenge
at the end of
accepted.
the review. At the end of the
All,
review, I will eat the entire thing.
all of a
No
sudden you
cuts.
hear. All
No
of a sudden
cuts.
you
I'll
hear.
swallow it.
All of a sudden you hear breaking news. Sony's rewriting all of Craven. Zach's like, damn. Oh
Reshoots,
no.
reshoots.
Sean Levy in charge of Craven. Like, oh no.
Can you imagine? No. Yeah, if I walk out of there and I love the movie and I give it a strong recommend, I will eat the tissue. No cuts on camera
So,
because
so
I
you
don't
know
believe it's gonna happen.
so you know what you need to do in your review video. When it's bad, you just need to take that tissue and just rip it up and say, "I guess I'm not eating," and just throw it away. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. I'll be sure. Beginning of the video, I'll probably crumple that thing up and check it.
Or maybe you might use it to
Um
wipe your tears from how sad it's gonna be, and just sit here like, "Damn, this movie sucked worse than Madam Web."
Sully Streams, thank you so much for joining. Sully, great to see you in here. It says I heard a rumor that Sony pushed Craven to December to coincide when they're going to announce Aaron Taylor Johnson as
Oh,
James
okay.
Bond. Don't quote me on that though. I don't buy it.
I don't
I
think
don't
he'd
think they
make a
would do
good
that.
Bond. I don't think he would make a good Bond.
Well, Sony does Sony have Bond? I don't think Sony has Bond.
I thought James Bond was.
Universal, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
I'm pretty sure James Bond is Universal. So I don't think there's any correlation to that because I don't think Sony would care.
Actually, it's Eon Productions.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never actually heard of them.
I think
But
I think they're distributed by Universal though.
let's see.
I'm pretty sure. But I'll be actually very surprised if Sony has James Bond, but I'm pretty sure they don't.
Oh, it's MGM and Columbia Pictures. Columbia distributes them.
I don't know what's
And
going on
and
with Frankie
and Warner Brothers.
Beastmaker that these guys are talking about, but I'm gonna have to look into that.
Mhm.
Aaron Jacobs says another flop will be any DC movie. I think Watchmen comes out.
Watchmen
Watchmen?
was good. I'm not sure if he's trying to tie it in there, but Watchmen was really good. It's actually, in my opinion, one of the better movies, one of the better comic movies.
Well, the next DC movie coming out is Superman next
Superman.
year, so we'll
Are you
see.
excited for that?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. I think James Gunn's gonna do a really good job with it.
I trust him. How could you not after what we just saw with Guardians?
Yeah, exactly. Trez Movie says Godzilla -1 just dropped on Netflix, and it really irritates me because that means that it's probably not going to get a 4K Blu-ray release. I mean, it's not made by Netflix, so Netflix doesn't have control over the physical release. I think they do it, but I think it's Toho, so I think it's going to be really expensive and really hard to get.
Yeah,
Yeah, unfortunate because I love that movie.
that was really good. One of the better Godzilla movies, and I'm not a fan of that universe at all.
Yeah, same. Toxic says, "Do you guys think Elemental 2 will come out?" I mean,
Possible.
after it had the legs, it definitely more possibility to come
It just
out.
depends on if there's more stories to tell.
Yeah. Toxic says Jake Gyllenhaal or Glenn Powell is my pick to be Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Nice, good picks. Trez Movie says my video on Baby Shark's big movie just became my most viewed video on my channel. So I guess Baby Shark is a thing on my channel now. Yep, follow that algorithm. Give the people what they want.
Yep.
Trez Movie says Smiling Friends is a series on Adult Swim. Oh, interesting.
I did not know
Okay,
that.
well, good for a nostalgia critic. Trez Movie says I haven't seen Elle Fanning be good in anything. Elle Fanning was in Maleficent, Nutcracker, The Untold Story, and she voiced May in Neighbor Totoro, which is probably the best thing I've seen her in. Dakota was Caroline. Right, Dakota Fanning was Caroline. I've seen her in Maleficent then. She must have been
Oh, that was her. Yeah, that was her.
oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing though. Bad movies, it could just be, I've seen good actors in bad movies, so it's like,
Yeah.
it could just be the writing and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Sometimes it's just a job. They need to be hired, and
Exactly.
that's their job is to get hired to read lines off someone's script. That's
Look,
the actor's job. Sometimes they got to take the job.
yeah, we keep harping back to Madam Web, but they were just coasting through that. They were just getting a check. Dakota Johnson, I refuse to believe she's that bad of an actress.
I
Like,
mean, she just didn't care. You could,
no.
she did not care. Again, Cosmonauts video. He goes into that in great detail. It's fantastic, but she did not care at all.
No.
Toxic Gamer 321 says, "Do you guys have every confidence Alien Romulans will be on the level of the first two Alien movies?" I definitely think it's gonna be better than Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and Alien Covenant, and maybe Prometheus. I think it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, not really into the Alien movies. So, like I
No.
said, I was more on the Predator side, and then kind of got introduced to aliens when they were doing the Alien vs Predator. But I always kind of knew what they were, but not really a big fan of those.
Fair enough. Trez Movie says actually Jason Statham in a Predator movie sounds Jason Statham in a Predator movie would be awesome. I'd be down for that.
He'd be a badass.
Trez Movie says I honestly don't remember Prey that much. Again, I'm gonna remember a movie I saw in theaters more than a streaming movie. Yep, fair point.
Same.
Toxic Gamer says I gotta get up early in the morning, so I'm gonna head out now. Great stream as always, Zach. You and Ace have a good rest of your night and pizza time. Well, thank you so much for being here, Toxic Gamer. As always, the show is made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night.
And it's always pizza time as long as it's not pineapples on it. So yes.
It's always oh, dude, we're gonna get into a debate now.
You like pineapple? Oh no.
Hawaiian pizza? Yeah, I mean that's what I don't know if that's what people call it
It's called
anywhere
Hawaiian
else.
pizza.
Yeah, Hawaiian pizza. Yeah, I love Hawaiian. Hawaiian's like my favorite. I don't know. I never understood the debate. I really didn't.
It does get unnecessarily hate, but I don't like it. Yeah.
I mean, it's each their own. The Lawrence Report says he loved Ahsoka. Fair point. Well, thank you for joining us, the Lawrence Report. Thanks for being here. Lawrence Report also said episode 5 had everyone shook. I'm assuming we're talking about X-Men. Yep.
Yeah, and then they made it worse by taking them off the intro card, the next episode. Like you.
Oh, dude, yeah. Very smart though. Like I love attention to detail like that.
Oh, of course. Yep. And that's what I'm saying. That alone makes me think that Marvel can handle Disney can handle the X-Men because they did a good job, in my opinion. Now, the only thing I would say is Iceman is one of my favorite X-Men. You better do him justice. He wasn't bad in the X-Men. I like the actor
X2?
that played him in X2. I like the actor that played him in the Days of Futures Past.
Yep.
But he just didn't get enough. Iceman is an Omega level mutant. He could have took out those Sentinels easy. Like, come on. The same Iceman that went to Marvel's hell and froze Marvel's hell by landing there and saying, I thought it'd be hotter. Like, come on. He's too overpowered.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you seen it with T, a beloved channel member? Thank you for being here, man. It says salutations, gentlemen. Well, salutations to you too, T.
You're up,
I think I missed Trev here. He says, I think Corey Coleman put it best when it comes to imaginary. All Chauncey did the entire time was sit on his little yes, all he did was sit on his butt. Yeah, they tried to do something creepy with Chauncey by having him have a child's voice and kind of speak broken English like a child. It just came across as ridiculous. It wasn't scary to me, and yeah, I didn't like it.
It's not getting raven reviews. This is you guys aren't putting a good stamp on that, so I definitely got to skip that one.
Yeah, I can't recommend it. If they did a sequel, though, I will say this: if they did a sequel and they focused more on they fixed the execution, but the last, like the third act of the movie takes place in like this different realm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the last 20 minutes of the movie. If they focused on that in the sequel and explored it and actually like developed it more, I actually might be into seeing what they could do with that. It would kind of be like the Annabelle creation of Annabelle, because I did not like the first Annabelle, but Annabelle creation actually wasn't too bad.
Are you into horror movies like that?
Not all the time. Sometimes I find them okay. Sometimes I think they're a little bit too demonic for me as like a Christian. But
I'm right there with you.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
yeah, like I'm you know, a firm believer in God. You know, God is the greatest, obviously. Um,
yeah,
I don't like I like the slashers, the horror, the suspense, but not the demonic stuff. I stay away from that. Like
yeah,
those type of movies because that's like, us as Christians, we fully believe stuff like that. So I don't want to put that negativity. I don't want that cloud over my head. But slashers,
yeah,
Michael Myers, love my Michael Myers, love my Chucky, all that stuff, but just not into like the paranormal activities. I'm good with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes they go a little bit too. Yeah, they just go too much into the dark area and it just conviction, and I just feel yucky about it. And then sometimes there's other ones where it's like, well, I don't know, this clearly feels fake and made up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like
Yeah.
Hereditary got too dark for me by the end, that I could never watch Hereditary again.
Yeah.
That was too much for me.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm all for the horrors and stuff like that. Like me and my friends were talking about this the other day. I want a horror movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, Jenna Ortega, and Justin Long. Some of the three biggest names in the horror genre. That would be an incredible movie to watch. I don't know what they
I'd
would
watch
do,
that.
but it'd be incredible because you have the OG, the Queen of Scream. You have Justin Long, who's kind of like the king of it, who's been in a lot of these, horror movies. Then you have Jenna Ortega, who's on the rise and who works well with Tim Burton. So I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Uh, Kicksta, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Says, Sub Zach, just joined the stream watching whilst at work. Oh, well, thank you so much for including us in your workday, man. Thoughts on the Acolyte? Apologies if it missed the discussion. I thought it was kind of bad. Look, we did talk about it. We talked about it, but I don't blame you for thinking it was kind of bad. I don't want to go there yet. I don't want to say I think it's bad because, like we kind of mentioned, there were some things going for it, and it's only the first 2 episodes. So we'll see how the rest of it plays out. There's definitely things in there that I'm curious to see where they go. But like we mentioned before, just wasn't sold on it yet. But
How
Ace really
many
liked it.
how many episodes are you giving it until you consider it dead?
Well, the thing is that I do this YouTube thing, so I'm probably gonna watch it the entire time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a I think it's an 8
Hmm.
episode. So if it doesn't pick up for me by like episode 5, that's halfway through the show for me, so that's gonna be a fail. That's not
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah.
Like what was like She-Hulk.
Oh,
She-Hulk for
that was
me, I
just
don't
terrible.
you okay, so you don't like She-Hulk okay.
No.
She-Hulk for me became a chore after episode
Oh yeah.
5.
Hmm.
I actually liked the first 3 episodes. I thought the first episode was fun. I thought the second episode showed some potential of what they could do with the idea and bringing back Abomination, stuff like that. But by the time we got to what's her name? Missy or whatever it was?
Madeline.
Madeline. Yeah,
Madeline with two Y's. Yeah.
yes, and not what you think or whatever. Whenever we got to that episode, I was like, "Oh." And then it like dipped, and then the Daredevil episode was like, "Okay, this is actually I actually like this." And then it was just like, "Oh, the wedding episode. Oh,
Yeah.
the counseling episode. Oh, the
Yeah.
finale." It
Th-
just it hurt.
those two would be good in a show together, Daredevil and She-Hulk, because they had good chemistry and the
Yeah.
actors played well off each other. The problem with She-Hulk that I couldn't get past, first and foremost, was the CGI was
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
terrible,
Yeah,
and then
uncanny. It was
it just felt like my biggest problem with She-Hulk, and I did a ranking of it with my boy. It was just a little bit higher than Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is definitely the worst one, but She-Hulk seemed like it was more concerned with preemptively getting ahead of the trolls than
right.
than telling a good story. We're gonna joke ourselves and make you feel bad for not liking this, but it stunk.
Yeah.
It was just bad. But the actress Tatiana Maslany was phenomenal. She's cute in the role. I think I would like to see her maybe in a
Yeah.
movie with a bigger budget. I thought she was great in it. I just thought the writing was bad, the concept was stupid, and the ending was just all over the place. And it was just one of those things like we talked about earlier. You slowed it, and then you rushed to the finale, and then
Yeah.
it was all over the place. I had no idea what was going on. It was like they were trying to be Deadpool with all these fourth wall breaks and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It was just terrible.
Yeah, for me the finale really didn't work because like Deadpool's a little bit different. I could change my tune on it if like in Deadpool and Wolverine I'm like, or in Avengers when Deadpool pops up, maybe I'll be like, this doesn't really work. But for me, with the finale of She-Hulk, it was like you had this verisimilitude of the MCU. The MCU was this world, and then all of a sudden you showed me that the MCU within their universe is made up by an AI robot. Like to me, it was like doing another Star Wars movie where Luke Skywalker suddenly goes over and talks to George Lucas, like, "Are you sure you want me to say the power converters, Lucas?" And it's like, "Yeah, just do it, go, Luke." And then they go back to the like, I'm out of Star Wars at that point. Like you're making a universe that you want me to buy into, you want me to believe is real. These characters are real, and you just like killed that in that finale for me.
Yeah. It
And
felt like a big bit.
yeah,
It felt like they were doing a bit, and it took me out of it. Don't get me wrong though, there were some things that were creative about, like when they went to the Disney Plus homepage. That was creative because for a split second I was like, "Did I hit the remote?" Like,
dude, I thought I sat on it. I was like, "What?"
Me too. I did the same thing. I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, you got me." That was creative, but it just felt like it was more concerned with preemptively getting above the trolls, and it was a huge bit. And Wong was in there, and I think Wong was a good spot, but it just shows a focus on too many things that it shouldn't have. Daredevil, the episode was good. Rip It and Rip It, that episode was actually like really good.
That was funny.
Episode. He was funny, and they had good chemistry. And I actually liked the lawyer side of it. Because like I'm not really into like law stuff like that, but seeing those two together and throwing around a lot of law terms at each other, and their chemistry was really good. I would love to see a show with them. And then obviously they hooked up at the end. That's true to She-Hulk's form. So that's exactly what she does.
The Walk of Shame by Daredevil
that was hilarious.
Hilarious. That was funny.
Him walking with no shoes on, like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like,
that was good. That was really funny, actually.
Did you like the suit?
I didn't mind it. Yeah. I thought it really popped. I thought it worked for the world that he was in with She-Hulk. Yeah. So I think they're going back to the red though for Born Again, aren't they? I think they already
they're tying it in. Yep, and they're tying in the Netflix ones into there, which I'm excited. Obviously, Charlie Cox got a huge ovation in the theater I was in when he showed up in No Way Home.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was the first big pop.
Yep. So
that's awesome. Brandon McDaniel says, rank these superhero companies: MCU, Sony, DC, and Fox. That's actually a good question. I'm gonna put DC at the bottom because their universe literally died. They did it so poorly. I'll put Sony next because Sony's on the cusp of their universe dying. They're doing it so poorly, but we'll see. Actually, you know what? That's not fair. There was a couple things in DC that I actually did like, so I'm gonna put Sony at the bottom because I have yet to find one that I like. And then DC, and then Fox, and then MCU. That's how I would do that.
So Sony, even though it has the Tobey Maguires in there, you're gonna put that at the bottom?
Oh shoot, I'm only thinking of their adjacent movies. Okay, you know what? Yeah, DC, then Fox, then Sony, then MCU, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Man of Steel was really good. I liked Man of Steel. We will never get that. We'll never get Man of Steel 2.
Almost did.
Yeah, almost did. There were certain sequences of DC. I would probably say DC. See, what we'll probably put. You got to realize Fox has Deadpool. So Fox has the two Deadpool movies.
That's true.
You also have to realize the Fantastic Fours weren't terrible for their time.
Yeah, I have fond memories of the Tim Story Fantastic Four. I gotta go back and watch them though before Deadpool because I haven't seen them in years.
It is really hard because like I would have see with Fox the X-Men movies, like X-Men First Class is really good. It's really really good. Days of Future Past is really good too. I would
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd probably say D, and obviously Logan. It's so hard because like obviously MCU's top, DC's bottom. If you want to fixate, you want to flip Sony or Fox, it's just up to you.
But going back to your like including the Tobey Maguire movies, are we saying the DCEU or are we saying DC like Superman the movie, The Dark Knight, like all of that stuff?
Well,
like
he said DC, so he didn't say DCEU. So if we're
so it would be DC,
then you're thinking Batman's, the Christopher Nolan Batman's.
Yeah.
Superman Returns, a lot of people liked. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was terrible. So it's still hard. It's just the bad of DC still puts it at the bottom. It drags down those other movies.
You might
Birds
be
of
right.
Prey, Suicide Squad. Like it just drags it down. So I'm gonna say Marvel's at the top, obviously DC's at the bottom, and you can flip Sony or Fox just depending on your preference.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mentioned all the X-Men and all that stuff, maybe because Sony has the Raimi trilogy, Sony has they have Into the Spider-Verse though. They have the Spider-Verse movies, and I think
And
that's
that's
better
another
than
one.
any of the
That's
X-Men stuff. So I do think I'd put Sony over Fox.
good question,
DC at the
Brandon.
bottom, Fox, then Sony, then MCU. That's probably one of the toughest rankings, man. That's a
See,
really good question.
but then you also have to put like, okay, what was Blade? Blade was just Marvel before MCU.
Was Blade Fox? It might have been Fox.
See, I'm looking at it right now. Credits. See, Blades were good. The first two Blades were really good. The third one,
Yeah.
not so much. But see, you have to take all that stuff into consideration. But that's a good question, though, for real, for real. Like, Watchmen is a DC movie. That movie's good as well. It's just, you know, it just depends on your preference. But I would still probably say MCU top, DC bottom. The other two just flip depending on how you would like it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Jay Pylon says She-Hulk was horrid, and so was Secret Invasion. I was done with them from the first two episodes. Echo was a bore. You know what's funny is I liked Echo. I gave Echo a positive review. I forgot Echo came out this year.
So that's not good. That's
I
not good.
completely forgot about Echo being out this year.
I was in the same boat as you earlier. Echo was a chore. I had to kind of like finish it. I'm like, okay, and they gave away the good parts. They gave away the good part with
That's
Daredevil.
true.
They gave away
Yeah.
they leaked the whole fight scene. And I'm just like, wow, why would you do that? But the actress was amazing. I would love to see her more, obviously seeing more Kingpin as well. Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin, in my opinion. Like he's up there with one of the best casting for superheroes, like up there, because he embodies Kingpin perfectly, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I will say, Secret Invasion, I get all the criticisms. I actually was really liking that show until the finale. The finale is what
All
killed
over
it
the
for me.
place.
Because
Yeah,
it
it
was what
started going all over the place.
it was like that's what we built up to. But like, yeah, there was a lot of missteps. Like, ooh, is Rhodey a scroll? Yeah, Rhodey's a scroll. You told us in episode 2. Like, why is it such a big reveal now in episode 4? Like, what are you doing? That's weird.
What's your favorite MCU series?
It's probably Loki. When you pair
Loki's
season
up
1
there.
and season 2 up with Loki, I think that that's the most well executed story, followed by WandaVision. But WandaVision's finale kind of gets a little bit wonky at times with the
But it
rest
has
of the
good
show.
payoffs, though. It really has good
It does.
payoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
To finally see her in that suit, one, she was hot as hell in that. But second of all, it's like the way she was just badass. And it just makes me so much more mad at Multiverse of Madness because you nerfed a great character. That's like they're talking about as possible this week, a Scarlet Witch solo movie. I'm hoping they do her justice. With Wanda, they took 5 steps forward and 20 steps back. And I'm just like, that was
And then
terrible.
they killed her.
And then they supposedly killed her.
Well,
But
I mean, it doesn't sound like Elizabeth Olsen is that thrilled about coming back to the MCU. She's her comments kind of took a little bit of a turn after Multiverse of Madness. So
who wouldn't? I mean, that movie was such a disappointment. But the MCU shows in general, I still think there are more hits than misses, in my opinion. I think Miss Marvel was really good. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier
love Miss Marvel, yeah.
Miss Marvel was really good. Falcon and Winter Soldier was in their pocket. It was exactly what MCU is accustomed to. The action sequences, the team-ups, the buddy comedy. Good to see a different version of Zemo as well. Was phenomenal. Moon Knight's one of my favorites. Because I just love that lore. Moon Knight is one of Oscar Isaac killed that role. You want to talk about somebody asked earlier.
Oh yeah, the best
scene,
performance.
Yo, Oscar. We didn't think about that. Oscar Isaac is up there. That scene where he realizes after his mom's funeral, and you see his face change on the spot.
Yeah.
Also, you want to talk about good performances? James McAvoy in Dark Phoenix when he found out, Mystique died. That's an acting display for you right there. So there's some good performances throughout that, but I would say Oscar Isaacs is one of them.
Yeah, no, that's Oscar Isaac's performance in Moon Knight was way more than Moon Knight deserved, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't hate Moon Knight. I liked 50% of Moon Knight, I think. I would be very open to seeing Oscar Isaac return as that character simply because of his performance.
Same.
Like,
Give us
I just
Midnight
want to
Suns.
see. He's phenomenal. Like, he is arguably in that from that show alone the best actor in the MCU.
Yep.
Arguably, like what he did there was phenomenal. He should have gotten more recognition with
See,
award shows.
there are so many. One of the things I do plan on doing for the channel is doing the best like characters of the MCU. He'll be one of them because of how Hiddleston's up there, Robert Downey Jr. is up there, but Oscar
Mhm.
Isaac propelled himself in such a limited role in just one series. He propelled himself up there, and I would love to see Moon Knight 2 and maybe introduce him into Midnight Suns.
Yeah, absolutely. Trev's movie says one of the best things I've watched recently is The Amazing Digital Circus. It's an indie cartoon on YouTube, and it's got some of the best CG animation I've seen in a while, especially since it's on YouTube. It looks like a kid's cartoon at first, but then it starts getting into topics like existential dread. I love it, but it's one of those things that the internet ruined. Oh, that's too bad, man.
I'm curious to see how the internet ruined it with
Yeah.
memes or with like negativity. I'm curious to see. Write that real quick.
Write that real quick. The
Oh, because I
where
want
is
to know how the internet ruined it. So
The Amazing Digital Circus?
yeah, that's what he was talking about. The internet ruined it. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Dragon Movie Guy, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining us tonight. Says, hi, Zach. Love the live stream. Good conversation. Who's the new guest? Good insights. Well, this
I
is
appreciate that. Thank you.
the Ace Avenue, man. You can go check out his channel. He's linked down in the description, by the way, so you can definitely go check out his channel. No excuses. He's right down there. So easy to
Thank you, Dragon
find.
Movie Guy. Appreciate that.
Trez Movie says Shazam was
Mm.
great. You didn't like Shazam?
I thought it was fun. The second one, no. I thought it was very
Oh, I
fun.
didn't like the second one.
Yeah, the first one was surprisingly fun. Hands lightning in my hands. That scene has me weak. Like what's his name? Zach Levy? What's his
Levi,
name?
I think.
Zach Levi. Perfect. Obviously the ending with, the fake Superman stunk, but it was fun. It was very
Yeah.
watchable. Would I have enjoyed it in the theater? I probably would have. But yeah, the second one was bad, but yeah, Shazam was good. Shazam was one of the better DC ones. Possibly.
I think so. I think of the DCEU, it's probably in my top 5 of their movies. I really enjoyed it.
Is the first Aquaman in there?
I have to remember all the movies now. I wasn't as big on Aquaman as a lot of people were.
Mm.
I actually haven't seen it in a while. I did not like the Lost Kingdom. I thought that was
bad.
horrible. I thought it was terrible.
Perfect way to end the DC with the fizzle, like
A cockroach cheeseburger is how they ended DCEU.
that movie was terrible, but it's just it had potential, DCEU in general. But hopefully, James Gunn does it right. Peacemaker. A lot of people love Peacemaker, so
Yeah. Even the final shot of Aquaman: The Last Kingdom, when Jason Momoa is standing in front of that horrible green screen at that press conference and is like, I am Aquaman. It was like, that is the perfect representation of the whole DCEU. You tried to rip off Marvel and you did it worse.
Yeah.
Like that right there is how they ended it. Poetic.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Terrible.
Joseph Rissy, I think that's how you say his name. Thank you for joining us. Joseph says, hi guys, how you doing? We're doing well. We've been going for almost 3 hours. Holy crap, I just looked at the time here. That's
Is this your longest?
3 hours? Close to it. I think, I can't remember. We've done 88 shows. I'm sure somewhere we've gone over 3 hours, but not for a while. No, it hasn't felt like 3 hours at all.
That's what happens when you have a guest and stuff like that. It goes by quickly.
Oh yeah,
and thanks, Dragon Guy, for subbing. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Just sub to Ace's channel. Awesome, man. You made a great decision today. Travis Movie says the Ted series was more memorable than Echo. I say that because they both came out in January. I loved the Ted series more than I love the movies, because I hadn't seen the movie until the series came out, and I watched both of the movies before the series, and I was like, am I gonna watch the series? Because they're fine, but I didn't think they were hilarious.
They're just Family Guy skits.
Yeah, pretty much. But it works in the series so much better. And I actually thought the Ted and the young John character or actor, I thought they worked better than the adult version with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
like it was great.
Yeah, the Ted movies are something I definitely didn't think I would want, but they're hilarious. Especially Ted 2. the sperm bank scene is just, oh
Oh man,
man.
that had me cracking up.
Every
That was
time I
pretty
watched that, the
funny.
Tom Brady scene as well was hilarious. So they're just good movies.
Yeah. No, I like them for sure. They just they were a little overhyped for me, I think. But
Hmm.
I like the series. I think is the best of all the Ted stuff. I love the series. Joseph Bressie says, I just saw that you're live and thought I'd check it out. Well, thank you so much, man, for coming
Appreciate
by
you.
and just checking it out. We're glad to have you here.
And I hope you guys smash that like button, guys. Definitely make sure you guys do that.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Chess Movie says, I kind of with the brain rot I got into earlier. It's kind of like with the brain rot I got into earlier. Some of the fans took it in really weird directions. They basically made Elsa Gate like videos for it, and it really hurts their creators and their creation. Okay, so this is the YouTube. Okay,
Hmm.
I see. I see
So the
what you're
fans
saying.
ruined it pretty much. So that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's too bad. Brandon McDaniel says favorite Marvel moment. Are we
There are
sticking
just
with
so
all of
many.
Marvel or just the MCU?
Oof.
Because that's
Give
makes
me
it
your
trickier.
give me your favorite MCU moment, your favorite non-MCU moment.
Oh, okay. My favorite. Well, that man. It's got to be something like an Endgame or Infinity War. I mean, I love the airport battle in Civil War. I mean,
Yep.
that was just there's so much to that's tied to that. I mean, Spider-Man coming into the MCU fulfilled my dreams. It was so much fun. It looked so great in theaters when I saw it there. Like yeah, that's hard to beat. But I mean, No Way Home, all my Spider-Man from my childhood,
Hmm.
all coming to like that is literally the culmination of my entire life of being a Spider-Man fan. Growing up with Toby, middle school with Andrew, high school and adulthood with Tom, and then all of that just like coming to like that's a moment that's hard to beat. But yeah, I think I'll go with the Civil War airport battle for now. But
Yeah.
what about you? What's your MCU?
It's probably got to be something. It's probably Avengers Assemble. Like when we finally got that in
Yeah,
Endgame, the culmination of 11 years, 23 movies, all in one grand moment that was teased to us in Age of Ultron. Avengers
right.
cut. Didn't get to see it. It just felt so satisfying from the beginning with Sam on your left and everybody's coming out the portal. Thanos looks shook.
Yep.
Everybody's there. The dramatic music plays, and you just hear Avengers grabs Mjolnir, assemble, and that's it. Like, I don't think it's gonna be so hard to top that moment. No Way Home came close with the. I love Spider-Man. I love coming out Andrew and Toby all swinging through the air together.
Yep.
Holland webbing Toby and pulling them forward and stuff like that while they're in the air, them landing there. But it's gonna
Oh,
be hard
dude.
to top the Avengers Assemble. It really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely. I still get chills watching that scene.
It's just it's tricky because the Spider-Man swing is like it's not just within the MCU that I love. It's like
Hmm.
like it's literally my entire Spider-Man fandom
Yep.
in one beautiful like it's like someone went into my brain and was like, what is a dream that we can make come true for Zach? What's an image that he
Hmm.
never thought he would see? How about all of his Spider-Man swinging together? And it's it's hard to beat because sometimes when I think of favorite moments, it's like if I could only keep one moment forever, what would I
Hmm.
keep and the rest have to go away?
Mm.
And it's like, how do I lose that? How do
Yeah.
I lose my Spider-Man? Like that's a hard one. As far as outside of the MCU, I do love the train fight with Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2.
That's a good one. Hmm.
Yeah.
If we're gonna say outside of MCU, I'm gonna go Sony.
Madam Web?
Into the Spider Verse. Yeah, right. Into the Spider Verse. The leap of faith is just so iconic.
Hmm.
Like that moment. It's to me okay. What makes Spider-Man movies so great is the coming into Spider-Man. Is
Yeah.
believing that you're now Spider-Man. Tom Holland in Homecoming. Come on, Spider-Man. Come on. And he's looking at himself in a
Love it.
reflection, half mask, half his face. And Andrew, you know what I'm saying? Like saving Gwen. It's the believing that you're Spider-Man. It's so good when Miles Morales, who finally starts believing himself and hears that's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith. and then the song "A What's Up Danger," and then how it's shot with him falling and it's upside down, and I'm just
That
like,
sequence,
it's
man, is
so
so
beautiful.
good.
Even like this sequence right here, dude. I said it in my review. The animation tells a story by itself, like without
Yeah.
dialogue. Like and that would probably be my favorite non MCU moment, definitely.
That's a good one to pick, man.
Yep.
Can't argue with that
Do
one.
you, do you have a favorite DC moment? Because I think mine would have to be from Flash is my favorite DC character. It would have to be Flash running back in time in the Snyder cut, which I'm so mad.
Oh,
I
man,
would
that
have
was
lost
good.
it seeing that in theaters. Like him stopping it. It's like, Barry, come on, run. You got to break the rule. Just one time, let's do it. And then like every step he's taking is reversing time. Who didn't approve of that? Like,
Yeah.
who watched that and said, nah, we're just gonna cut that?
Yeah, ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm so glad we got to see it. Honestly, I'm so
Mhm.
glad that the Snyder cut happened. As much as annoying as it was on Twitter for years and years and years for those Snyder cult fans to demand it, I am thankful for them in the
It
end
was worth
that
it.
they demanded it. It was definitely worth it. DCEU and DC, I guess like the one that comes to mind is the Batman warehouse fight in Batman versus Superman
We
was
started killing people.
pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, I understand that, but it
Mhm.
looked awesome. Um, yeah, it's hard because I'm not as emotionally attached to DC. Like
Mhm.
Marvel is like that is like nostalgic and ties to my childhood and ties to characters that I love. And I just never really got that into DC. Even before the DCEU, I wasn't really the biggest DC guy. So I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what my favorite DC moment is, but I do love that Flash one where he goes back in time in the Snyder cut.
Not just that
Um,
one too. The one where he first saved Iris,
oh yeah,
and you see him running out of his shoes, running through the glass,
that's a good
and
one.
the attention to detail of him having to slowly put her down because he would break her was amazing. Like, and that's what it just makes you so mad. If DC could have had
Yeah,
all that throughout his movies, it would have been better.
going to the Flash on the CW.
Oh yeah,
Um,
love that show.
when Barry's dad dies by Zoom,
Oh, that's so emotional.
that was hard hitting.
Mm.
That's a moment that sticks with me. That was a big and also the finale of Flash season 1
Yep.
is great.
Flash.
When Eddie
Uh,
shoots himself to stop,
mm-hmm.
oh, it's
Stop
great.
Reverse Flash. Not just that, Savitar reveal.
Oh,
I'm
I loved
rewatching.
it.
I'm rewatching that sequence with my friend. I hope that she's not listening because we're in that season. And I told her, I said, I am not telling you what happens, but just that sequence when he finally realizes he's like, I know who you are. He's like, you don't just remember, you lived it. You remember when you were me. And then when he
Yeah.
comes out and is like I told you from the beginning, I am the future Flash.
Yeah, I
I
got
was like,
chills, man.
oh, but yeah, Flash. Let me say, I would love to see Grant Gustin as a live action Flash. I feel like he deserves it in the theaters. I feel like he deserves it. He would translate, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to say because you couldn't I don't know if they would want to tie the CW Flash to the movies because we saw like how Disney Plus tie into Marvels and stuff has kind of worked out. But I mean, I wouldn't I can't say that I'm not interested in seeing it. I really
Yep.
love Grant Gustin's Flash. I just don't know if they'd ever do it.
Yeah. But so much good stuff, man. Like throughout the course of, we're lucky to have these superhero movies. Like in the day and
Oh
age that
yeah.
we're in now, because I'm gonna tell you this, I probably wouldn't have a channel if it wasn't for the MCU movies, because then I wouldn't have some of the friends that I have. So I'm
Oh,
grateful for
I
them.
agree. Same with me. I met so many friends through the MCU
Yep.
in middle school. Dragon Movie Guy says, yes, Ace is right. On your right. Deep cut, seemingly random callback, but hits the right button at the right moment. Oh yeah, when Falcon comes through the intercom. Man, dude.
That whole movie was a sequence of callbacks, and it's just a culmination like of.
Yeah.
And the one thing I love about the Marvel movies, seeing things from a different perspective. Like we had, like when they went back in time and you could see themselves interacting with themselves from a
Yeah.
different angle. I like that little attention to detail stuff. But a lot of people, Endgame is a big fan service type movie, but it's done well.
Yeah, it's like it earned it.
Yep.
Is what it did. It earned it. It built up to it and oh man, it was That 3 hours still flies by. I don't think there's any 3-hour movie that goes faster than when I
No,
watch
because
Endgame.
it felt like three different movies. The first half was grieving about Endgame because we finally got to grieve, and
Yep,
they hit you hard with Hawkeye's family dying immediately. Then we had to grieve throughout the
love
first
it.
hour, then come up with a solution, time travel, and then one glorious, huge battle at the end that just got so emotional and the ultimate payoff. And I'm inevitable, and I am Iron Man.
So good. Don't bring him back. Variants, I
No,
don't
don't.
care. Don't do it.
Hold that thought. Hold on.
I don't know if he's got Robert Downey Jr. back there or what's about to happen. A little behind the scenes on that too. What do we
Oh, it
got?
does have batteries.
Do you have
I
Robert Downey
didn't-
Jr. back there?
No, it's something close though. Hold on. I told you I'm a collector. Hold on.
Oh, dude.
I have this.
Nice.
I have the Infinity Gauntlet. I have the Captain America Stealth Shield from Winter Soldier. Black
Wow.
Panther helmet. I love my collectibles. When I walked into the theater with my Infinity Gauntlet, everybody's like, "Yo, that's so cool." I'm like, "Yes, it is." So
You brought it to the theater. I love that.
I did. I'm a nerd, bro. I'm a nerd. I got to.
That's awesome. No disrespect to your green screen game or anything like that, but I feel like you have too many collectibles to be hiding them behind that. Like, why don't you display them? For
I
the
don't have a
camera?
good setup behind because my whole
Yeah.
house, my whole place. I'm actually in a converted garage where I have it, so
Okay.
it's not enough room. That's why it is.
That makes
But no,
okay. That's fair.
ultimately, like I said, whenever I do get to that point, I will like obviously I showed you my Ninja Turtle one, but I didn't get to show you that it actually came with cup toppers and everything. Like I still haven't even busted these bad boys out of the box. Like,
Nice.
it's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, I have a lot of collectibles. Huge Power Rangers fan, gonna be adding all that stuff. But whenever I do get a bigger space to stream, then I will have a huge display with everything.
I can't wait to see that because they shouldn't be hidden away. It's like a crime.
Yeah, like I said, huge Black Panther fan. Got the Kamoya beads and everything.
Oh,
Got
cool.
them stashed out. Got the necklace and everything. Like I said, huge. I even bought a pair of Jordans to match my. It's on my Facebook. I might send you a picture of my whole Black Panther mask, outfit, and everything. Like when I went to see Wakanda
Absolutely,
Forever.
dude.
Wakanda Forever had me in tears. I was crying in that movie.
Oh man, the silence during the Marvel logo. Oh man, that was
Yep.
good.
He talks about he's an emotional streamer guy. That's how I was when I was seeing Wakanda Forever. It's just the silence spoke volumes. Did.
Absolutely. Trez Movie says I took my brother to see No Way Home with me when it came out, and he hated that I kept losing it with the audience. I mean, can't help it. I mean, that's the movie you just lose yourself to. My
Yeah, but then
brother
you
and I
just
were
go back.
jumping out of our seats.
You just go back and watch it again if you miss some parts. Because there are some people that are like, yo, I missed something because everybody's going crazy. That's a movie theater experience. Oh, well.
It's true. Drake Movie Guy says also loved Andrew's redemption in No Way Home when he catches Zendaya. You can see the relief and redemption, the not again being avoided. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I mean, I don't mean this in disrespect to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that stuff, but Andrew Garfield's almost too good for these movies. It's like he just it was so interesting watching him with Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, and because he wasn't necessarily my favorite Spider-Man. Like the Amazing Spider-Man movies weren't my favorite. But watching them all play off of each other, which part of the magic of that movie is you can get them all together, but the fact that they all had as great a chemistry as they did is really what made that magic work. But when you see all of their performances side by side, man, Andrew Garfield brought it. He's really stuck out. Yeah. He definitely is. Like he may not be. I don't know if he's my favorite. Like because that's the thing is after No Way Home, like in that movie, I think he was my favorite Spider-Man in that movie.
Like he's one of my. Oh, okay. This is what I say. Toby's the best Peter Parker. Andrew's the best Spider-Man. Tom Holland's the best both. That's what I say.
That's what I used to say when Homecoming came out and Far From Home came out. But like there was something about No Way Home that like, and I'm sure Andrew Garfield also like he just like you know matured and aged as an actor and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, and he had time to see how Amazing Spider-Man was perceived and come back, and same with Tobey Maguire and all that stuff. But yeah, there was something like if that was the Spider-Man we had gotten the whole time, he probably would have ended up being my favorite, like, Spider-Man and Peter Parker,
Yep.
because I liked his Peter Parker and his Spider-Man more
Yep.
in No Way Home.
Now I'm kind of clamoring for that dark Peter Parker story that we heard about from in No Way Home. Talking about I went dark. Where's that? I would
Yeah,
love to see that.
and
Like,
symbiote.
yeah,
You do the Venom symbiote with that.
that's the one that he's the one that deserves that. Like he could
Yeah.
Andrew being because obviously he has to act, all terrible. Tom Holland's nice, but I would have a hard time believing that he's mean. Bully Maguire obviously pulled it off, but I would love to see Andrew Garfield with a more tougher,
Obviously
gritter
pulled it off.
storyline. So, but
Oh, that's funny.
a tougher, more grittier Spider-Man where he stops pulling his punches. Because this is the thing, Peter Parker's a lot stronger than what people think. Never forget that one comic book arc where Doc Ock switched bodies with Peter Parker. Have you read that one?
Oh, I've read the Clone Saga, but I don't think it was that one. No, I don't
The
think I've read the
Doc
Doc Ock one.
Doc Ock switched bodies with Spider-Man and realized that he's been holding back the entire time.
Oh,
Like, so he's been
really?
pulling his punches. I would love to see a darker, grittier version of that with Andrew.
That'd be
But
great.
like you said, Andrew's a great actor, man. In Tick Tick Boom, he actually displayed his singing abilities.
So underrated because it
Couldn't
got
sing.
dropped on Netflix.
Yeah, and he couldn't sing. Like he took singing lessons. And when I'm really big into music, stuff like that, and I'm listening to him, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have believed for a second that he didn't know how to sing. Because he's
Yeah.
hitting all these different notes and stuff like that. One of my favorite Andrew Garfield movies, Hacksaw Ridge. Have you seen that one?
Good. So
That is,
good.
I don't like war movies, but being that one was a Christian war movie, and
Yeah.
it's just it hit hard, and he just totally killed it as Desmond. And I was like, man, that's such a good movie. He deserved awards for that one.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. I think he nominated? I can't remember if he was nominated for that. I know he was nominated for Tick Tick Boom, which was
Mm-hmm.
so rightfully deserved. I kind of wish he had won, but yeah, no. Yeah, Andrew Garfield's amazing.
Definitely the best actor of the three.
Brandon McDaniel says favorite superhero quote. Well, we already went through the Bull McGuire ones. What better ones are there?
Of superheroes, we're just gonna say everything in superhero movies.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean,
Joker, I believe what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
that's a
That's such
really
a
good
good
one.
quote. That is a really good one.
That's a really good one. I don't know. There's something about Captain America's "I Can Do This All Day" that I really like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Peggy Carter couldn't do this all day.
She couldn't do it for 5 minutes.
No, exactly.
Too bad. Yeah, that was rough. Dragon Movie Guy says worst moment of the Arrowverse, better than the best moments of the DCEU. Sad to say, but even political Supergirl season 2 onward is better than the Man of Steel's religious allegory. Oh, dang, coming at Man of Steel like that.
Yeah,
I never
worst
did get into
moments of
Supergirl.
Arrowverse. I did for the first season before they were CW, and then it kind of just it kind of got bad. But the crossovers were really good.
Yeah, I watched all the crossovers.
Yeah, even Legends of Tomorrow, Flash and Arrow were the best ones. Legends of Tomorrow after season 1 kind of like started falling off.
That show went everywhere. It was
Exactly.
like season 1 we've got the Rip guy. Oh, now he's gone forever. Now we got season 2 and let's bring magic into it. Bring in Constantine. And I was like,
they lost me when Snart was gone. And I was because he was such a good character. Snart was one of the best ones. But the worst Arrowverse, you got to realize Arrowverse is really good and it's a low budget TV show. Just imagine if they had a big movie budget, what they can do, because it didn't look. Grant Gustin's running way better than Ezra Miller's running, and even the suit, like, because they tried to design it as a figure skater. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, it definitely reminiscent of the New 52 with the lightning holding it down, but the suit looked terrible. That movie was. you said you liked it, right?
I did.
Or you just didn't think it was that bad?
I understand a lot of criticisms to it. I thought that it actually had a pretty good emotional core with the mother. I also think it was benefited by me seeing the Flash TV show because they did not really tell you anything about what happened to the mom. I'm sure they were trying to set it up for the sequel, but there was no information about what actually happened. I thought Ezra Miller playing off of Ezra Miller was really funny.
I think he was annoying, and he was annoying once, he's annoying twice. Like
Fair
what's
enough.
to
I thought it was a very unique way to do the origin though within the
hmm
movie because they went back in time and told the origin through his past self and
hmm
him mentoring his past self. I thought that was kind of cool. I was very confused by Michael Keaton's Batman. It was cool to see him back, but was he Tim Burton? Was he not? I don't think he was. I think there's more evidence that he wasn't than there was, but
hmm
I just had fun with it. I just enjoyed it for the ride that it was. And I do think that the third act got kind of bad. To
I
be
like
honest.
Supergirl though. She was, first of all, she's very attractive. The girl who plays Supergirl, but it was just all over the place. It just didn't have
Yeah.
it didn't make sense for a dying universe. Like you were
Oh
already at
yeah.
that point. You were gonna it was done. That movie was supposed to come out like 5 years ago, and it
Yeah.
just didn't make
See
much
that too.
sense. But Grant Gustin's, I'm emotionally invested in Grant Gustin's
Yeah.
Flash
Well, we had
because
9 years with him.
exactly from the very first season, the finale where he went to go save his mom, and you see his future self telling him no. I'm like, bro, like it was just so emotional. Like you said, his dad dying, Iris dying, or HR dying, stuff like that. It was just it's
Oh
such
yeah,
an emotional ride.
HR. The way they kept bringing the Wells back was actually really good.
Exactly. Great job by Tom Cavill. No, Tom something with a C. He's a great actor.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what his
It's
name
Thomas
is.
something. Yeah. So
We got a super chat from Spoiler Kings. Thank you so much, not just beloved channel members, but also supporting on another level. Thank you so much for that, guys. Says a great stream. I have to get to bed. I'll be checking out Ace more. He's a cool dude. Yeah, he is. Definitely subscribe to him
appreciate
down
that.
in the description below. And thank you guys so much for being here and joining us. The show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Not just that, the show is made better because Zach is the man. I'm telling you, man. Like he is giving this platform for people like myself to come on here and be introduced to you guys, not just me. A lot of a lot of people have raving reviews on Zach's channel, and I wish you nothing but the best on here.
Thank you, man. Likewise. Same to you, man. We got Jason Entertainment saying, I think we're wrapping up here pretty quick. Jason Entertainment says, "Hey guys, how's it going tonight? Still haven't seen the Acolyte, but hopefully it turns out to be a great show." Well, thank you for joining us, Jason, and I agree. Hopefully it does.
Only time will tell. Hopefully,
Dragon Movie
in another
Guy,
month. Hopefully, another month you'll feel
yeah.
different about it, and we'll all
Hopefully
like it.
there's
Yeah.
time. There's time. It's only the first 2 episodes.
Yep.
There's time. Dragon Movie Guy liked your Iron Man gauntlet.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a
Trez
big
Movie
kid at
says.
heart. Dude, I
Trez
get the things that my parents did the best at providing for us, but I try to get the things as an adult
Yep.
that I couldn't get as a kid. Like
I'm the same way. My mom noticed that when I got a job when I was 18 or something like that. When I was like out of high school and could actually afford to buy what I wanted. She noticed that too. She's like, "You're buying all the stuff that I said no to when you were a kid."
they say us as guys, we never really grow up. We just grow older. So we don't grow
Yep,
up.
I would agree. I could definitely see that being true. Trev's movie says, "I remember when I was so into No Way Home when I first saw it that when Green Goblin stabbed Tobey Maguire, I actually screamed no." Well, I thought they were gonna kill him.
That would have sucked. You
I
can't
thought
do
they were
that.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
The only thing about No Way Home that I thought was a missed opportunity was to have Willem Dafoe and Tobey Maguire interact. That was the only thing and I understand because the movie's runtime can only be so
It's
long.
pretty long. Mm-hmm.
But Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe in the first Spider-Man movie, there's a like father-son relationship type thing going on there. Like they should have had something. They should have exchanged words.
Well, they did that with Doc Ock. They tried to do that with him and Doc Ock, though.
Yeah, they did, but I feel like it would have worked. It narratively because Doc Ock got cured, it made sense to do it with Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is maybe the more popular villain from that franchise. But yeah, I was like, come on, just turn around. Willem Dafoe is right behind you. Say something to him.
Yeah,
it never happened.
There was just so many like fan service done right. Like I was just so weak in the theater with I like to consider myself a scientist as well. Like, oh man, like going back to that one,
working that meme
I
in
too
there.
am somewhat of a scientist, and or the can the Spider-Man come out and play? I was like, oh man, this movie's just they hit it, they nailed it.
Yeah, they did a really good job. They really did. Dragon Movie Guy says, "Is there any way Barry Allen could flashpoint Ezra Miller's casting as a Flash out of existence?"
They crossed over.
Yep, that's right. They did, and they crossed over before Snyderverse or Snyder Cut came out. So the continuity is off. It doesn't make any sense. The conversation they have.
That scene just made me mad because it showed me that you have the ability to do it, but then you're not doing it. It's all
Yeah,
Warner Brothers. You could have done it. And a lot of people thought Ezra Miller, I mean, not Ezra Miller, a lot of people thought Grant Gustin was going to be in the Flash movie. Like, it was a perfect opportunity, especially with all those cameos. You could have had him in there real quick,
he
but they
should have
decided not to
been.
do it.
He should have been.
Yeah. It was a waste, in my opinion. So,
I agree with that. All right, and this is probably the last comment we're going to
yep.
get from Dragon Movie Guy saying Grant Gustin added so much depth to that role, and yes, Tom Cavanaugh
Tom
or
Cavanaugh.
TV's Ed, the bowling alley lawyer, was awesome too. Yeah, he was underrated actor. He was really good in that series. With that, we have hit
Absolutely.
the final comment and question. So that is the show. That is the almost 3.5 hour long show of Zach Milne Talks Live. Dude, I cannot thank you enough for being here, Ace. First of all, for being a beloved channel member, for all the support you give to the channel, and for giving me all your time tonight, because you could have been doing anything else, but you chose to join us here for nearly 3.5 hours. I understand it's late where you are, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at the Ace Avenue. That's DAACA Avenue. It is pinned in the comment section below, where I do sports, movies, just like this, have great conversations with people. We are fully into the Yankee season. It's taken up a lot of my time, but the Marvel content will be coming soon. I plan on doing a Fox review, a Fox ranking pretty soon, leading into the Deadpool movie. Going to take full advantage of that. So make sure you hit that subscribe, and subscribe to Zach Milne Talks Movies as well.
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, definitely go check out the Ace Avenue. Great guy, as you've already seen for the last 3.5 hours. Very insightful, great opinions, and really articulate. I really do appreciate hearing your opinions and your point of view, honestly, on all that. And yeah, down below, subscribe to him. And it is collab month, guys. We'll be back with another guest next week. Same exact time, same exact channel. You guys have a good night.